Welcome to East Ringwood Reserve on a beautiful day for footy in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. This is the Eastland match of the day between Surrey Park and Scoresby. This is a preliminary final of Division 4. The winner of this will move on to play Kilsyth in the grand final. My name is Jared Bainland and welcome to the pregame. Sitting next to me, Ryan Long and Scott Hardy. Gentlemen, welcome. And Blake Tennant, I didn't realise you had a headset on. Welcome, guys. How are we all feeling?
Oh, thanks, Jared. Yes, very excited to be out here at East Ringwood Reserve. First time we've been here for a final. We were here early this year in a very one-sided contest between the Roos and Eagles, but hopefully today we get a great contest between two sides who, at the start of the season, I think we thought would be playing finals, and one of them will advance through to a grand final against Kilsyth. So looking forward to getting stuck into it. Lots to discuss in the pre-game. Games going around yesterday, today. Been a big weekend.
It has indeed, and that's what finals, that's what August and September throws up, isn't it? Just a lot for discussion, a lot of high stakes and a lot of excitement. Scott Hardy, how are you feeling about today's game and some of the matches that are happening around the grounds today?
Yeah, doing very well, Jared. So I'm just dealing with some power outages in my local area.
Oh, no.
So if they could sort those, whoever runs our power company, can you get that sorted for me? Because that'd make my day a lot easier.
Fingers crossed they're listening.
Yeah, but no, great to be here. I actually haven't been at this ground. I was saying to Ryan, surprisingly, I've been to most within it, but to actually come out here, see the crowd that's building. It's a really good crowd this far, and trying to break through to get up to here was a struggle in itself. So now that I'm up here, I'm sorted, and I'm looking forward to a good contest.
It is a bit of a maze. Blake Tennant, welcome, mate. Very good to have you here. You'll be doing boundary duties today, won't you, alongside Dylan?
Yes, again. Yes, good to be here. We had an absolute thriller at the 19s game. It actually went to overtime again. So can you believe it? In the Eastern Football Netball League final series, we've actually had 3 overtime games this season in the whole finals campaign. And we're not even up to our grand finals yet. So can you imagine the adrenaline for the grand final next week if we do have a grandstand finish as well? As you touched on, as Ryan said this before, these two sides have been in amongst it. It would just be really fascinating to see where this game will go, and looking forward to reading about what happened all about yesterday as well, and also today.
These two teams have played each other 3 times throughout the year. They are 2-1 in the favour of Surrey Park. Ryan, do you think the most recent game that they've played, which is the one that Scoresby won, do you think that's a bit of a predictor as to how things are going to go today, or is it just too far back in the season that so much has changed?
Yeah, I think it's probably too far back now. They played back-to-back weeks in those King's birthday weekends. And I think at the time, from memory, that Surrey were missing quite a few, and then since then Scoresby have had a lot of players come out of the side, and both teams have had different changes even just from last week. So Surrey have brought back a host of players, Scoresby brought back a couple of key players the week prior. So it's a very different game, and obviously we saw what Surrey Park did in the prelim this time last year, and it was an absolute blowout. So yeah, I think Scoresby a chance, but I am worried that this could be a very one-sided contest if Surrey Park get on top early. Scoresby surprised me last week, as they did pretty much everyone against Chirnside, but it's a big ask to then come back again and do it a following week against another really good contender in Surrey Park.
Scott, as the resident Chirnside Park cheerleader, do you think that? Cheer squad? Yeah.
I'll take cheerleader. Continue.
I couldn't think of the individual word.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take it.
Do you think that last week's final, Scoresby beat Chirnside Park, of course? Do you think that says more about Scoresby or about Chirnside Park in the long run?
Oh, probably more about Scoresby, that they're fit and firing and ready to go. So I sort of am expecting them to come out with that momentum, which is great in a final series to have that, to come up against Chirnside, who are sort of running rampant, leading up to finals, and we're a real concern for those in the upper sort of section, especially from sort of a kill size perspective. to sort of have them knocked out is credit to Scoresby, and it probably gives, I guess that sort of strength that you get probably from that upper division and sort of that experience and coming into the final sort of thing. Obviously, they didn't get to play it last year, but they know sort of a competitive nature, and so yeah, I think it's more about that. Credit to Chermside, they turned their season around from obviously at the start when I was I was very big into them. They were disappointing me exceptionally, but then they turned around and found what I thought was going to be the Chermside side that I had picked to sort of finish on top. So yeah, look, they learn from it. They come out next year firing, but yeah, at the moment it's all about Scoresby.
Yeah, absolutely. And Blake, on Surrey Park, they're bringing in a host of players, as Ryan mentioned. How much of a difference do you think that's going to make? Surrey Park's a smaller bodied team than I think Scoresby are, just from looking at the footage. But that quality that they're bringing in, is that going to help them on a day like this?
Oh, definitely. You're looking at the ground today is, it's a great oval. Don't get me wrong. East Ringwood always provides a very good solid contest. But Surrey Park, I think they've got a lot to prove. I think, making the grand final last year, and they've brought in a lot of good players, like you said as well, Jared. And it's going to be an interesting battle. But their expectation heading into this year was to make the grand final and potentially winning it. So they've got a lot to prove today to show that they're up to it, because they've got Kilsyth, who are, obviously waiting to have played a winner out of these two sides. But it's going to be interesting.
There's certainly more pressure on Surrey Park coming into this game, where Scoresby, a lot of people didn't think they'd get past the first week of the finals, myself included, and now they're sitting in a prelim with a chance to go to a grand final. Surrey Park, as Blake said, would have had that expectation at the start of the year to get themselves back into the same position as they were, and for their sake to try and actually reverse those results and actually win it this year and move up the divisions, because it is quite important with a young growing list that they do move up the divisions and make sure that they can keep everyone at the club, those younger players.
Yeah, that player retention is going to be so important for them as a club. But it's interesting that we brought up the idea of expectations, and I think I've seen Craig McKenzie coming up. This is a question that I really want to ask him in terms of expectations regarding the fact that they were a Division 3 club last year, and how that looks like in a bigger picture. So we are just about to be joined by the Scoresby coach, Craig McKenzie. Welcome to the show, Craig. How are you doing today? Oh, very good, thank you. I'll just turn your mic. That is much better. There we are. So, Chermside Park last week, that presented a really strong challenge, of course, because they were in red-hot form. What do you put it down to? How did your team overcome that sort of a challenge?
Yeah, we had to learn a lot about Chermside. They were, as you said, in great form, and the team to beat, it seemed like. We played them in round 15 and took a lot out of that. We went into that game knowing we had to learn a lot, and then by obviously getting a little bit of personnel back into our side meant that we could try a few things. So yeah, the game plan we went in with worked, but it worked, and we're able to sort of reduce the impact of the strengths that they had, and hopefully showcase what we had as our strengths. And I think in the end, it came down to the wire. We know that, but the way we moved the ball was pretty impressive in the end. So yeah, that was.
Well, on that point, in terms of learning a lot about the division, about the clubs in this division, obviously it's a very small division, only the 7 teams, so you play each other pretty frequently. How much have you taken from the 3 games that you've played against Surrey Park, and how will you apply that today? Yeah,
I mean, we felt like we knew each other. Both teams would have felt the same way, really early on. But at the end of the day, we actually haven't played them in quite a long time now. So it was the long weekend was the last time we played them after playing them 2 weeks in a row. So yes, we learned a lot, but at the same time, both teams are looking pretty different at the moment and playing some pretty different footy. So we're not going to rely just on that. We're going to rely on everything that we've learnt ever since. The beauty of having a bye is you get to watch them as well. So so we've been able to do our homework that way as well. So yeah.
No, that's good to know. Go on, Scott.
So I was just going to say, do you learn more from a win or a loss? Do you feel like in that situation where you had that pause, you had the loss, then you had the win? So which one do you take, or do you take it a little bit from column A, a little from column B?
Yeah, a little bit from column A, column B. And the conditions were way different in those 2 weeks as well that we played. And the personnel out on the ground was very different as well. So I know they had quite a few players out, but so did we for that long weekend as well. And our captain had planned a trip interstate that was we couldn't avoid and all that sort of stuff. So it was very different. But at the end of the day, we keep talking about a system that we're implementing and something that we put into place. It doesn't matter who we've put out there, we'll be able to implement that. Now, obviously, there's players that can do special things, but we know what our plan is and we know how we want to execute it. So when we lost that, we definitely, in the first of those 2 weeks, we definitely went away and sort of said, what is it where have they exposed us here, and how do we fix that? And then also, what are we not doing that we need to start doing? And that was the same after the Churnside game in round 15. We had a really long chat about stop talking about wanting to stop them all the time and actually how we're going to win this game rather than save the game, and that's what we flipped the switch from that moment on. So yeah.
G'day, Craig. Just a quick one. We touched on about the opposition in Surrey Park. They've had the wood over you this year, two games and then one. Obviously, last time you played against them, you beat them. Talk about them, because we feel like they had high expectations, obviously, from where they were last year, and obviously you guys had to come down, unfortunately, as well. What are you going to think you're going to expect from Surrey Park today? Obviously, they'll be very more hungry because they lost to Kilsyth, obviously, and you guys will be full of momentum. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, look, they're a very good side, and they've got a very good system, very well coached. So we know that, and we know that the way that they use the ball, they can be very fast-paced when they're up and about, and they like to get the ball, moving, So our plan, in that scenario, is to make sure that we nullify that, win the contested footy as much as we possibly can, and nullify their momentum moving forward, and then obviously, then put in our game plan for moving forward as well. So it'll come down to a lot of contested footy today on who's controlling that contest and who can move the ball forward, and then obviously who can rebound as well most effectively. So.
And Craig, just for yourself, I mean, this is the first time we've covered Scoresby this year for a match of the round, and you're new to the club this year and have done a fantastic job to get to the preliminary final. And to a very proud club that has some great history, and obviously at the moment back down to Division 4 from last year. So what sort of expectations did you have coming into the role, and how have you found it? Yeah,
there was a lot of unknown in regards to what we thought we could achieve, because fundamentally we had to change the mindset of what's going on around the club. They've been in this pattern. So I was the first sort of external coach that they brought in for quite some time, and there were some challenges that go with that, because they've had their Scoresby way for quite some time, and one thing that stood out really clearly is that they're well set up off the ground. There's a lot of passionate people that work really, really hard. So how was I going to make sure that I nurtured that and also shift this engagement and this culture back into the group? So my first steps were just to basically really broaden the numbers and engagement at training, and really get the numbers up. We've got 65 on our list now across two teams. Like, we've got 12 blokes missing out in the twos today, which is super exciting for the club. But people want to be there, and that's something that they're enjoying doing, and whatever we sort of put out there, they're absorbing, and but then at the end of the day, like, bringing in a whole new game plan and a whole new coaching squad and a whole new, it takes time. So the expectation was to obviously play finals footy is what we were saying we wanted to do, but how that looked, we weren't too sure from the beginning of the season. As we got a bit of a gauge on the competition, we realised that saying, we've just got to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We just kept saying it all the time, and we feel like we are putting the pieces of the puzzle together right now. Like, it's coming at the right time. So,
and you're sort of happy with the culture of the club at the moment. Obviously, is the reserves you mentioned right now 8-8 to 2-2 in Forest Hill, so potentially could be on their way to a grand final. Yourself in a preliminary final. I've heard maybe an under-19s next year potentially. So, it looks like you're in a pretty good position. Yeah,
we've worked really hard this year. Like, I feel like I haven't had a day off all year, but it's for all the right cause, and it's all because because we're excited about what we're doing. The 19s, we've appointed a coach for next year, and we've been going to junior games flat out everywhere as much as we possibly can. We've built really strong relationships with clubs around us, the junior clubs, and we feel like we're on the right path. And the twos, like we appointed Nathan Hicks to the coach this year, and Nathan and I teach together, so we work together all day every day, and then we're at footy all day every day. So you can imagine that we're just talking footy non-stop. But it's that excitement and that investment that has worked well for us, and we've been able to get the players to sort of come along for the ride as well. So yeah, it's great.
Scoresby were, of course, relegated last year from Division 3 after what at least I saw is not a bad year. It wasn't disastrous by any means. You guys just got pipped at the post by Fair Park in the last round. Having come into the club, how much have you seen the drive, how much of the drive in the club has come from the idea that you almost belong in Division 3?
Yeah, it's a balance of that and a balance of just like players having a voice and having a say in the direction that they want to go as well. Like I certainly haven't come in and said this is my way and this is the way we're doing it. That's for sure. Like so we've made sure that we've completely developed the leadership group in a role, not just a title, and they've really taken ownership on what's been going on around the club. And yeah, there was that constant feeling of, we don't belong here. But I said, but we are here. So that's the reality. We are here. And what are we going to do about it? So, and I found myself at the start of the season constantly saying, this is 2023 Scoresby. Well, I'm not going to talk about what's happened and where we were. We've just got to talk about where we are right now and deal with it and make the most of it. So, yeah.
That seems to be the best way to go about things, I would say. So, given we haven't covered Scoresby in the time that I've been on the media team, or any of us actually sitting here talking. Who are some players that you're excited to get some exposure?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know. As much as you haven't covered it, you guys do your research. I know you do, and you've done some really great stuff. Just talking about what's been going on. It's been super exciting for Cooper Frith this year to. When he first came in, he was playing in the back line, and he said to me from day one, I want to learn to be a midfielder. And I said, no worries, well, I'll do everything I can to help you become a midfielder. And early days, at first few rounds when we had Surrey Park, we lost round 2, and all of a sudden Cooper's got to go back to the back line. I said, no. I said, he's not, I'm persisting with him. And I mean, he's had a stellar year. He's been fantastic. He's a super exciting young talent, and he's a vice captain. He's been fantastic for us. I guess we've got some other players who are on the rise, but what's most exciting is the players that have come in and sort of felt like they haven't had an opportunity elsewhere, or for whatever reason, there might not have been a lack of opportunity, it's just the fact that it's fit into our team really well. Players like Brad Bishop, he was at Baronia with me but never directly coached by me, and then when he heard I was here, he just wanted to come back and play. Well, he's been playing some really good consistent ones footy for us, starting on ball today. He's been terrific, so he's one to watch, and his fitness is next level. I guess, look, a couple of our running half-backs. We moved Bailey Marshall back to the back line this year, and he's been so consistent and so strong for us around the half-back region. He was a midfielder when I first got him. I actually taught him years and years and years ago in primary school, and so we've gone full circle there. But by transitioning him back into the back line, we just realised that he not only knows how to defend, but he mops up, and he loves getting his hands on the footy as well. So he's been a super talent for us as well. And then, of course, there's the likes, the more notable players like Dale Hare and Tim de Geest is our captain, and he's been really, really reliable as well. So, and then Adam Bronzgeest is pretty well known, and it's nice to get some consistency into his footy because he's had a pretty interrupted injury sort of prone year. So he's moving really well at the moment. So that's good.
Well, that's perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, Craig. I think we've all wrapped up our questions. Very good luck to you and the rest of the year. Hopefully, it for you guys can go one more game.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Good luck. Good luck for the call as well. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
That's great.
That was Craig McKenzie, coach of Scoresby. Good chat with him. I very much appreciate the openness that he had there.
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of discussion, and when you don't sort of, I guess, like we said, we haven't sort of covered Scoresby, and obviously as a new coach for Craig, we haven't really spoken to, I haven't spoken to him openly like that, but you could tell he's happy to give his time, and what he's obviously delivering down at that club is impressive, because I think when you come down a division, there's always going to be, there's two things: whether you're going to retain retain the people on the park, and you're also going to retain the people around the fence in your community. And it sounds like they're doing both. And obviously now with a 19 sort of coming up and under, it's a credit to him and to the club.
The 19s will be key to get that going, and hopefully that will certainly improve them in the future. And obviously, this is a very proud club. I mean, you go back just over 10 years ago, they were playing in the grand final in Premier Division, or Division 1 at that stage against Noble Park. And, I mean, I remember growing up in, those early 2000s where they were just dominant and they were playing grand finals from 1 and 2 divisions. So it is a really, really strong club, and if they can start to get 19s and hopefully for their sake get a junior program back again, suddenly they can start to make their way up the ranks, because it's still a very young side, and as he said, there's a lot of young talented players there.
And they also got the junior grand finals at Scoresy as well. They've been doing that for years and years and years, so if they could just keep building those facilities up down there, they're going to be a destination club in the next 3 or 4 years. And you say under 19s is crucial. I feel like if you don't really have a 19 side, you could struggle a bit, with different sort of clubs and all that, because then you can have that growth mindset that some of these 19s could actually play senior footy. And then if you just, as Craig said, they've had to drop 12 players today, their reserves prelim final. So imagine if they would have had a 19s team, which to keep them up.
And it gives you that flexibility, and obviously Surrey Park are key for their 19s, and using those younger boys to sort of come up and give them a go and see how they go, because they're in a good position, like you're saying, right, with the reserves now sitting 57-20 in the halfway through the third quarter. Obviously they've got a decent amount of depth, but you're right, Blake. Like, there's only a sort of certain amount of time or window for your reserve seniors and stuff. You need those 19s to keep pushing, just to keep that momentum going through.
Indeed.
We'll soon be joined by James Kenworthy, I believe. But for now, I think we'll leave the Surrey Park Scoresby match and move on to what I think is going to be a really interesting game today in Division 2, of course, as Heathmont versus Waverley Blues. Now, Ryan, we saw the Waverley Blues last week get pretty dominated by Templestowe. It was a clinic in stopping the run that the Waverley Blues can generate, especially off their half-back line and whatnot. And Templestowe, their bigger bodies, just completely stopped them in their tracks.
Yeah, just didn't get their game going from the first bounce. That first quarter that first half was just all Templestowe, and they sewed that game up by half-time. They transitioned the ball really well. They didn't allow the Waverley Blues to get their handball game going. They didn't have much run, and when they did try and take the game on the Blues, they turned it over, and they had guys like Toby Ryan and Doug Wooden again at down back was fantastic. He played a really crucial role in that first half when the game was there to be won, and then their midfield was the clear talking point. They were just dominant in that area. Mitchiner, Fogarty, Giovannini, Nagel, they just Jessup, they all played really well, and they found some of the small forwards to hit the scoreboard. And obviously their result yesterday took a couple steps backwards against Baronia. So, and I'm sorry, we are talking about Waverley. I'm talking too much about Templestowe. So, I sort of get stuck on that, because I think last week's game, I take more of it from a Templestowe perspective than a Waverley Blues. I think from a Waverley point of view, you just rewrite that one off, because I would be very surprised if they played that poorly again today. They've got a big task against a Heathmont side who are a little bit rejuvenated with a few players back, Blake, but I still think if they play their best footy and they get it going, the Waverley Blues should get the job done. And it's not a dominant midfield of Heathmont's that's you can say with a Templestowe and a Baronia. Yeah,
and the question I asked yesterday when we were at Bayswater, I said, can the winner of this game today between Waverley Blues and Heathmont, whoever wins, can you see these two? Can you see, potentially them beating Templestowe next week? Could you see, Waverley or Heathmont knocking over Templestowe?
Yeah, potentially. We'll save that chat for a bit later, because we are just joined by the senior coach of the Surrey Park Football Club, James Kentworthy. Another fantastic result this season to be here on a preliminary final. We were here last year, or not here, but at East Burwood when you thumped Churnside Park in a prelim, and another chance to make through for consecutive grand finals.
Thanks, boys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, absolutely ripper day today. Boys are pumped to be out there prelim week, so hopefully a good day for us.
And much different sort of conditions as last week. The Saturday was quite rough out here against Kilsyth. You're a dry weather team. Is it a big win to sort of have the sun out and looking forward to sort of the contest in dry conditions?
Yeah, absolutely. That suits us a fair bit. Last week with Kilsyth, bigger bodies, they defended really well and really earned our ball. So today, absolutely looking forward to it.
Did you take much out of it? I know you've been able to bring in some really quality players, including yourself this weekend. And what happened last week? Was it just Kilsyth sort of got their game going, or?
A little bit on that, and just how we sort of play. We fell away from that in the third quarter, so we were just going long down the line. It's not how we want to play footy. So, we reviewed the tape and, we'll go to work today and hopefully you guys see a much better brand of footy today.
As Ryan mentioned, you guys have got a bunch of ins today, to my understanding. Matt Garvin, Ryan Kennedy, yourself, Josh Durand, and Blair as well. Is another in for today?
There was one more. Blair was in last week. A lot of experience back, which is really pleasing.
Is this the best side that you've fielded this year, do you think?
Honestly, no. We've had a lot of guys, key injuries. So last week we lost Jack McLaren to concussion. Riley Tempany did his knee probably with about 10 minutes to go in that last quarter. So they're two key cogs in our backline. And we don't have our number one ruck, Jacob Woodfull. So
that makes sense.
That does hurt.
Yeah, for sure. Go on, Scott.
No, sorry, but I was just going to say in reply to that, I guess you've throughout the year you've used selections from your 19s, your reserves. Like you've got such depth, and we were just talking about how having a 19 sort of side is key, really, just to get you going and boost your numbers. It must give you good belief that you've got fairly good depth in your team though, or in your club.
Yeah, absolutely. We were sort of halfway through the year, we were looking in strife there, and just to lean on the 19s, we probably got about 8 or 9 through the senior squad this year, but for the senior squad this year we've used 50 players, which is quite a number, and then through the dev side probably about 70, I think. So had a lot of ring-ins, but if you look at our 19s yesterday, had a good win at Mitcham, straight through the grand final or prelim week, I think. So they're a really good bunch of kids coming through.
And through that, obviously, like you said, you've had a lot of numbers, so that obviously changes the way people play, learning the game plan and everything like that. And you've probably had a slightly up and down sort of season in consistency, I guess. Coming into the finals, do you just sort of trust the game plan that you've sort of got and that momentum sort of coming into the prelim, and hopefully the boys trust and follow your leadership?
Yeah, absolutely. We back our brands. Obviously, you look throughout the season, all the results. When we play to our strengths for 4 quarters, we get the job done most of the time. So it's just getting that consistency through the game. That's sort of where we look at it.
James, just coming into today's game, obviously you had a very tough loss to Kilsyth. But I asked Craig the exact same question as well. But what are you kind of expecting from Scoresby this week? Obviously they've had a big way to come through to playing on against you this week. But what are you expecting? They beat you the King's birthday game. But apart from that, you guys have had the wood over them. What's key points from knocking over Scoresby in your eyes?
Yeah, I was actually at here on the Sunday, so I had a good look at them firsthand. But just from that game, they controlled the ball really well. Their ball movements are really, really good. So just pressuring them through that and trying to not let them get their game going will definitely sort of go into winning the game for sure.
And just on a couple of those key ins as well, because Josh Ward sort of put us off guard saying Tom Smith was done for the year. We wouldn't see him again. He came back a couple of weeks ago, and obviously Ryan Kennedy's a really important inclusion. You've still got some players out, but watching Kennedy, that hurt you in that Kilsyth game. We were out. That I think it was second quarter. Woodfield both went out early. How important are a couple of those sort of guys, for especially your midfield? Yeah, really, really important. Pretty much for most of the year, we haven't had our first stringers inside mid, so that does obviously help. Ken has been a team of the year, really consistent performer throughout the years, so just having him back, that experience is really, really helpful. And Jacob, obviously young up and coming ruckman, he's really good at tap work, so having that sort of first use in the guts is a big loss. Ryan Higgins has unfortunately had to shoulder the
ruck load pretty much since about round 3 is when our second ruck, Logan, went down. So, we've put a lot of sort of trust in Hugo to get the job done week in, week out, which is sort of a bit rough on him, but he's a good battler.
Can we ask a bit about Josh Ward? I know he's a very proud...
very, very quick on this one.
He's a very proud Surrey Park man, but how is he down at the club? I believe he goes down every Thursday night. Is that correct? Can we just get a quick explanation about Josh Ward?
We absolutely love Josh. Yeah, this year he's come down every Thursday night, which is really good. Yeah. He was in, I think, Jack McLaren's year through the junior years, so he's good mates with him. Absolutely love him around the club. Yeah. His positivity and just love for the club is second to none, which we absolutely love. So, it's really good to have him around.
It's a bit unfortunate he's not here today.
He's too nervous about the result. He couldn't show up.
Surely he should only be doing EFNL.
I think so too. So, thanks for joining us in the pregame, James. All the best for today. It's a big ask, a big task, but a big chance to go back-to-back grand finals and potentially a premiership.
Cheers, boys. Thank you very much.
All the best for today. The senior coach of the Surrey Park Football Club, James Kenworthy, and a fantastic inclusion to the side as well. We talked about just Kennedy and Smith, but great to have James running out on the field as well today, because that certainly does boost the experience on the playing field.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be really interesting to see how that will change the complexion of their team, how that will change the way they play. Because as we've seen them against Kilsyth, and having a look at the footage again against Kilsyth in the final, there was just a bit of lack of leadership, lack of experience, and lack of those bigger bodies as well. And perhaps coming up against Scoresby here, these inclusions will just galvanise the team a little bit, and having that leadership, the coach out there on the field with you. I mean, that's always going to be a bit of a key going forward.
And just in reference to your question with Josh, he was very very chirpy about the 19s and what they've been doing through the year, and he really would have loved to have asked some more questions about the 19s, because he's really got high praise for them and stuff. So it's credit to Surrey, like I was saying, like just to have that availability in your selection. I know what James is sort of saying in that we've had to choose so many and stuff like that through the year, and it makes it a little bit hard to get consistent football when you've got first off, you've got younger people coming in, and you've also got to teach them how the way they play. But still, it gives you, at least you're going to get a team on the park every week, even if you are copping the injuries that they have throughout the year.
One of the players that I've noticed watching the footage is one of the kids that has come through the 19s is Charlie Nancaro. He's looking like a bit of a live wire. And a day like this as well, and I think it probably does suit the way Scoresby plays, it would suit a kid like him as well. I think Surrey Park will perhaps be a little blessed by the weather here at East Ringwood. But I think going back to Division 2, we didn't quite finish up that conversation about the semi-final that's on today.
Did we touch on the result from yesterday as well?
Yeah, the Templestowe-Baroni one.
2. So I'm assuming you would have probably touched base on it at the end of yesterday's show. But 17-11, 113 Baroni defeated Templestowe 7-6-48. I don't know how much of a discussion you had about that yesterday, but it probably cements Baroni's legacy as the premiership favourites, and for Templestowe a couple steps backwards after what was a really good first week. And do they lose any confidence of that? Because they'll obviously still probably go on as the favourites in whoever they play, whether it's the Waverley Blues or Heathmont next weekend.
I feel like Templestowe will be able to pick themselves up. I think the leadership group there is very experienced. They're not going to let that get through to them necessarily. Blake, do you think that? Yeah, do you think that that's something that a Heathmont or a Waverley Blues can prey upon if they meet them in the prelim final? Yeah,
obviously, in sport today, momentum is the key. If you don't have momentum heading into the game, 9 times out of 10 you could lose. And not saying anything, no disrespect for Templestowe, of course, but just saying it's very momentum is a big thing in footy, and I think Templestowe might be a bit down of confidence after losing to it. So I
still worry about their forward line. I know they scored really well against Waverley Blues, but again that was a really disappointing result. 7 goals, didn't get the impact from Limback again.
I think
Lindback didn't play, did he?
Oh, did he not? I was about to say. I think
he did.
Well, I think teams have figured out Lindback.
He's just not performing to where they'd liked.
And just a quick one as well, like Bo mentioned in our game that we had of Templestowe last week, he dropped full forward as well. So maybe, Boronia did their work, cut out kind of thing. Because I reckon he would have dropped down a full forward role sort of thing and, be an option near forward. So it's Lindback obviously had that big game at Heathmont. I think he kicked 5 goals. So, we just don't know about him so far since that game.
So it looks like we are going to go towards our first break here. On the other side, we'll be continuing this pre-game coverage of the preliminary final between Scoresby and Surrey Park. See you in a minute.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to Eastland Match of the Day. It's Surrey Park and Scoresby here in preliminary final action. It's Division 4. Currently we're watching the reserves game play out here. Scoresby 11-12-78. Are soundly beating Forest Hill 3-2-20, which is, we spoke to Craig McKenzie before, and their depth is looking really strong.
Good start today for the Magpies.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've just been having a chat about the Division 2 matchup. We've been talking about Templestowe a lot. Heathmont versus Waverley Blues, however, was there a blueprint to beating Waverley Blues set by Templestowe that Heathmont can pick up on, or do they just not necessarily have the sort of list that Templestowe have in terms of the bigger bodies and that sort of that profile, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know what you guys think, but I think their midfield is very different to Templestowe's. I think Templestowe's midfield is probably more similar to Boronia's. They can probably match it with Boronia to an extent. Maybe yesterday wasn't the point of that, but it's a different lineup. Heathmont, they do bring in a lot of important players that weren't there the last time. even someone like a Colombo. There's quite a few that came back into the side. I just think the Waverley Blues will. Yeah, I just can't see him having that bad of a performance 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
I thought Kramer was really good the last time we saw him for the Waverley Blues, and Langford certainly played an important role. And it's just some of those forwards. I mean, someone like a Josh Williamson was trapped up forward and just wasn't getting any delivery. And if they can get him on the board early and get him involved and certainly create more opportunities up forward, I think they'll be fine. So for me, I'm tipping Waverley Blues, but in saying that, I don't want to disrespect what Heathmont's done, and they will come into this fine because defensively very sound, but attacking wise, they've had some. They probably lack that little bit compared to Waverley Blues. But in saying that, last week they kicked 7 goals in the first quarter and were out of the block. So obviously they can do it. You just got to do it now, back-to-back weeks.
Blake, Heathmont have struggled to string back-to-back weeks of good performances together throughout the season. It's finals time now, though, and the mentality is perhaps going to be quite a bit different going into a game like this. How much of an effect do you think that'll make for Heathmont and the way they go about the game today?
Yeah, winning a final is massive. It gives that sort of belief with confidence with Heathmont. They obviously still think they can do the job as well. But, Waverley will be coming in hungrier. They want to be in that prelim final week. But, for a Heathmont point of view, we should be very proud. Ryan said that as well. Where we predicted Heathmont last year compared to where they are now, they've won a final. I think that's massive. Winning a final is massive. Just for the club that, people can see that, this club, hang on a minute, they're rising. They've won a final and... they'll be full of momentum, Heathmont, and I think they could, potentially go all the way, but it's going to be a struggle if they're coming in again.
You reckon they can win it?
Oh. Well, momentum, like I said, it's huge. They could, but after seeing Waverley Blues' first quarter last week, I
think they can win this week. I've no doubt they can win today.
But it's going to be hard.
I don't think I mean, the question I think you posed is, can the winner of this game, Blake, you posed that question, can the winner beat Templestowe next week? Yeah. I think the bigger question is, whoever makes the grand final, can they beat Baroni at the moment?
No.
I would say no. I would say Baroni is by far the best. They're probably the next side we'll talk about in Donvale, and they'll meet Ferntree Gully next week. So I don't know if we want to chat about that result yesterday, because that was probably quite a close game in the end.
It was. It was 79 to...
Yeah, only 20 points or something.
It wasn't a bad showing by Oakley District, and they stuck with them throughout most of the day. For me, Scott, do you think that is a little worrying for Ferntree Gully going up against a Donvale, that they let Oakley District stick with them for most of the day?
I think anyone going up against Donvale at the moment's probably got to worry against them. Look, I think that's probably. I think Oakley, they've been playing some good footy. Got into finals, and like Blake said, sort of momentum takes you a lot further sometimes than you think. And I just felt like it's not a bad result either way for either side. And I think going in against a final though against Donvale, it's always going to be a hard task, no matter what team, what momentum you have.
Yep.
But, we say a lot of things. Stranger things can happen. And, for Ferntree Gully, though, I think we've got to give a lot of credit to them. Where they were last year, to see a 0-5 side, right, that started off the season, I think that was 0-5 or 0-6.
0-7,
yeah.
0-8 maybe.
From all reports from Donvale, Waverley Blues, all those sort of coaches, they said that they were the best 0-7 side. They couldn't believe that they were losing, and, they should have been up there. And then they had a strange of different sort of runs coming through. And now they're making a grand final. This is a tremendous rise by the Ferntree Gully Football Club. They've obviously recruited some pretty good players as well to get to where they are. But it's like in second division and first division as well. They've got to do a massive mountain. They've got to climb a massive mountain. And we all saw it last week. Ferntree Gully were hanging in there with Donvale for 2 quarters, and then they had a little slip up. I think Donvale kicked 6 goals in that third quarter. So, just saying that, Ferntree Gully, they could just do what they kind of did yesterday a bit, string in maybe that 1 or 2 goals, just keep edging and tipping away at Donvale. It's going to be an interesting battle. I wouldn't say it'll be a blowout. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be, maybe a 4-3 goal margin in my eyes. I don't know about you boys, but yeah.
I was just going to say the thing with Ferntree Gully, like obviously they've learned from that year gone by where, they probably should have played finals last year, but if you're sort of talking to everybody and those opportunities they missed, they learned from. And it was sort of funny because this year we were sort of saying that about Warrandyte at the start, saying, but they're not a bottom side. They shouldn't be losing and stuff. And now they're the second bottom out of the final. So it's interesting the two sides, how they take it.
So can we say Warrandyte could maybe do a Ferntree Gully next year?
Well, they have the chance to, definitely, given the amount of injuries that they've had this year. They played 50, 60 odd players.
60?
Maybe not 60.
Yeah, they did have a lot.
Maybe a little under 50.
I think.
Now I'm thinking about it.
But yeah, they sort of fell away, and I think Ferntree Gully probably have just gone from strength to strength from that year gone by. And I think you're right, Blake. Going up against Donvale, like I said, it is a hard task, but I think Ferntree Gully is probably in the best position or best side to go up against them.
And they've just got to chip away. If they're 1 or 2 goals down, they've got to go at half time. Brent Kiker, he's going to come into the game thinking, all right, if we're 1 or 2 goals, we're in this game.
You reckon apply the Shawshank method, not just the chip
or the big shark that Alex Clarkson did say. So
it is every grand final. It's back to 0-0.
Yeah,
you start the game 0. So they've got a chance. They had more scoring shots that last final against Donvale at half time, and probably had a few more chances to make I think they actually trailed, but had 5 more scoring shots. So if they had came in at half time with maybe a bit of a different mindset, could have been a different second half. So very important that they get out to a quick start in the first half. If they're down by 6 or 7 goals at half time, you're not going to be able to chase them down in the grand final. I know they came close early in the season, but they're not going to do it in a grand final.
I think the thing that we're alluding to, but not explicitly saying, is that it's a mental game for Ferntree Gully. It's all going to be above the shoulders, and I think one thing that I worry about is just how much of that mentality has been dented by the fact that Donvale have.
Well, they got a hold of them in that final. That would be your worry, I guess, that they let that margin get out to that sort of margin in the end.
What a surprise. Margin got there.
Just any other games that we want to potentially talk about?
I know what he knows Division 1's coming up next.
Yeah, wow, I can give you a brief explanation if you want of that game.
All right, so South Belgrave defeated Montrose yesterday. Blake, take us away.
Yeah, so obviously...
Do you want to give a score?
It was 70. I think it was 10-12-72 to Montrose. I think 8-8-50 or 7-8-50. Yeah, 7-8-50 it was, I'm pretty sure.
7-10-52?
Yeah. But yeah, just a quick explanation of that game. We've got to give it a bit of credit. I know it's all that, but Montrose kept up with South Belgrave for 3 quarters, and as we've been saying heavily this year, that South Belgrave need to find that other gear, and they definitely did in that last quarter. It was a Taylor Garner clinic I saw, so it was really impressive game by him. After half time.
But what happened in the last quarter? Because South Belgrave 4 goals won to Montrose 2 behinds.
I was into that. So after half time, Scott, it was South Belgrave.
Yes.
7 goals to 1 after half time. Yes. So that's kind of what you don't want see that. And Montrose had 21 inside 50s for 7 scoring shots. So there you go. So they missed.
What happened though after half time? Because like I said, Montrose was leading into the half, 2 goals up by half time, and then it seemed like South Belgrave just, like I said, went into a different gear. But how so to that different gear? Like that's a huge turnaround in a final.
Yeah, and obviously they've got stars, they've got a lot of AFL talent, in having all Garners play really well, and have probably, in my eyes, in this division. Tim Smith is probably the best player, in my eyes, as the best player in the competition. I think he had a quiet game, kind of by his standards, I would say. But yeah, just disappointing second half for Montrose, but they've got a, I don't know if we want to talk about later today about the Mitcham North Ringwood game, but, obviously Montrose would, they've got Mitcham, who they've had the wood against, but North Ringwood, I reckon in my eyes too, from what I saw last week with North Ringwood, they used the ground really well, Boronia, last week. So it's going to be interesting, that game, if we want to...
Yeah, well, they're absolutely very young, exciting side, North Ringwood. There's obviously a few players that are experienced veterans, and including the coach running out there today in Robin Nahas. But other than that, it is quite young across the board. So they've come into this with a lot of... I'd say a lot of optimism coming into this season, where they've come down a division. I don't think they had pure expectations of, it wasn't we have to play finals, or it's not finals or bust, but they managed to make a final series, won a final now. Anything else is just a bonus.
It's a free hit for North Ringwood, isn't it? And I think the thing that worries me about Mitcham is their first quarters, whenever we've seen them, have been really poor, and that was the case again last week against Montrose.
I think it was maybe 5 goals to 1 behind last week.
Didn't kick a goal in that first quarter.
And maybe that youthfulness that we're talking about of North Ringwood, that could be the key difference in the first quarter to getting off to a really good start.
And that start that North Ringwood had against Beaconsfield, they had 9 scoring shots to 1 in that first quarter, as we saw from sort of coverage. And geez, they were a quick side, and like I said, I sort of spoke about sort of that stampede nature of just pushing back once they're on attack, and Mitchell will have to be on their toes to stop it, because I felt they were really quick. But it was interesting sort of listening to Robbie Nahas after the game. It wasn't sort of like, that's it, or geez, we won the final. Like, they expected it, and the way he spoke was like, okay, now we move on to Mitcham, and they probably fear us.
And it just, you obviously were doing the boundary, and we had a few interviews, and listening to what Robbie said, he goes, I think a couple of the boys from North Ringwood actually said, that's just one. That's that mindset, saying, that's one down. Now we're going to start ticking to the next box, going for 2, and then potentially maybe 3, and then, if they really wanted to, they could go for the grand final. So, but yeah, that's a good mentality to go, yep, we've ticked the box, but now we're going to go again against a team that's going to be very hungry in the Mitcham Footy Club.
Yeah, 100%. And I think probably my worry is I don't think Mitcham can win it without Parenti up forward. I don't think they have enough talent there in their forward line in terms of height. Jesse Smythe's really... sorry, you about to...
He is in this week.
He is in this week, so he is. I did hear that, and then he didn't pop up on the team sheet, but that's massive. That's huge. That sort of definitely makes sure I tip Mitcham on that, having him back in the side. And he's going to be key, because Garthwaite's kicked another 4 goals yesterday for the Montrose, so if they do make it next week to a preliminary final, you probably need 3 or 4 from him. Obviously, with Garthwaite in the form that he's in at the moment, and Montrose, they are the second best side at the moment. Yeah, there's 100% that they will go in as favourites, despite that being an extra time final last week. But Mitcham got a bit of work to do. They've got to get through North Ringwood first, so we'll see how it goes today.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to probably tip North Ringwood today if we're going tips and stuff. I just felt like just the way, watching their footy, I think, again, just the beauty of the momentum that we've spoken about, I just felt like, they're just a really interesting sort of footy club. And I think also sort of having Robbie sort of come in, as your coach, and sort of probably, like, even we were in the rooms and stuff and listening to him sort of talk, like, just as an outsider observing, I was like, geez, even I believe it. And probably that's why I'm tipping him this week. So I would think through the week he would have been talking about things that he's obviously learnt through his time through the AFL system to get his boys up and about, and that belief to really hit fever pitch once they step onto the park today.
So, sorry as well, Jared. He's not playing. I just had to double check. I double check my notes.
I think it's next week. I think he's expected to return next week. I've heard. So
go back.
We've
to
got
North
some sort of room.
North Ringwood.
No, I'll back Mitcham, but I think it'll be close. I think North Ringwood will really push him.
I just had to double check the team sheets there. I'm really sorry, listeners, but he's not playing. Parenti out. So we thought he was in, but Ryan said he wasn't, but then I said he was in. But, I own up to that.
the old sucker punch on us. Yeah.
It's a quick turnaround. I like that, Blake, because I thought you probably could have just let it go and no one would have cared.
I'm an honest man. Yeah.
We appreciate the upfrontness. We do have one more game going on today, and it's a big one as well. East Ringwood versus Doncaster East. It's the elimination final in Premier Division. We just saw the other elimination final of that division yesterday. Baldwin comfortably defeating Blackburn. This game should be a lot closer, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think Blackburn limped into... I don't know if you say limped in, but they snuck into a final series, and they're playing one of the top three sides. I don't think they were ever going to knock off Baldwin. And then for this game, they're both pretty evenly matched. Doncaster East probably have a little bit of a stronger midfield, but obviously with their forward line, East Ringwood and someone like a Farmer. Is he playing? You said he had a limp after
Trev
last
Farmer.
week.
I actually spoke to an East Ringwood official down there. So, but he's playing, and I said, well, is he going to be 100% now? They go, well, it's a final. You want your best players playing 100%. So Trent Farmer will play. He will suit out. He will suit up. But yeah, like I said, so I'll give you guys as well. I reckon East Ringwood can do the job. That's what I'm saying. And, I think they're good enough to have the right talent and mindset to do it. But obviously, you can't rule out Donny East as well. But for me, I think East Ringwood's going to win.
Yeah, Jared, I think East Ringwood have been more consistent than Donny East.
I have to agree, and I think part of it might have something to do with a little bit of the continuity that Doncaster East has. They've had difficulty finding that. It's a team full of stars. There's a lot of talent across all lines of Doncaster East. Yet I feel that East Ringwood perhaps gels together just that little bit more from what we've seen, and that might have something to do with the fact they've gone through the season last year, a very successful season, winning a premiership, and they've got that finals experience. They've got that consistency. They've got that mental edge, perhaps. And Doncaster East, well, they did win a final last year against Baldwin. However, maybe a little bit of a different list, and just haven't been as gelling. It hasn't clicked for Doncaster East this year.
No, it probably hasn't, and they're probably sort of both finishing their seasons in interesting sort of form. I probably am only going Doncaster East only slightly by just the momentum. I'm going to stop using the word momentum, but just by I guess the form that they've sort of been in, the wins that they've had towards the end of the season, both sort of very similar in match-up, and the losses that they've had and the wins against the teams that they've played against Norwood, etc. But I'm going Doncaster East on this one.
I've got to pick East Ringwood for mine on this one. I just think they've gelled together like a little bit more as a team, Ryan, than Doncaster East, which seem to have those stars, but.
And I think the Swissabelek Mundy sort of combination in the ruck has been really key for them this season. That's been great for Mundy's development as a young ruckman, and giving him probably it's eased the pressure off him coming into the Premier Division competition. We saw how good he was in the Division 1 last year in that grand final as well. It certainly helped them out.
Yep, for sure. So it looks like we are running out of time on this pre-game show. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks, Jared.
That's gone quick.
It has gone quick. Oh, I think it's because we had a couple of really good interviews with the coaches. They were very good to talk to.
I thought it was us. But
So on the other side of this upcoming break, we will welcome in the call team. My fellow commentator, Gav Casey, will join us amongst others. And we'll be back with you for the Eastland match of the day between Surrey Park and Scoresby. Preliminary final action in Division 4.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in, because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Hi, Dylan Dow from the Baroni Football Netball Club here. When I need to grab a quick coffee or a bite to eat, I'm popping into Eastland. Eastland's more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been a major partner of the EFNL since 2018. Cheers, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to East Ringwood Reserve. We have a Division 4 preliminary final on our hands here between Surrey Park and Scoresby. This is the Eastland match of the round, and I will be introducing the call team. My name's Jared Bainland. Next to me, my co-commentator, Gav Casey. How are you doing today, Gav?
G'day, Jared. Good to be here. It's going to be a very interesting game. This has been a very competitive division. There's probably not much splitting first or fourth, but I think we're in for a good one because it's going to be hard to pick a winner based on their 3 games earlier in the season and their trail to this game in particular. There's no certainties today.
No, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to see how they both match up. And right next to me, our 2 special commentsmen, Scott Hardy, who was on the pre-game show, of course, and joining us for the first time today, Ray Baird.
Yeah, good day, guys, and good day to all the listeners out there. Preliminary final day. It gets really exciting for Division 4 now. We're only next week to go. And as Gav said, both these sides, they've earned the right to play in the preliminary final, and it's going to be a really even contest, I believe.
And Scott Hardy, of course, we were just chatting on the pre-game show. We had a couple of interviews with the coaches. What are your thoughts on this match at hand?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting contest. Got the boys in the background on the sound effects mics, and for those watching, the clash jumpers in play. So it's going to test you boys today. I'm interested to see. I'm going to learn, I reckon, a bit from you both on how you're going to call it. And they're not the easiest numbers, the blue on grey, might I say.
It's not.
Yeah, look, it's interesting. Scoresby sort of, come up with a great win. Surrey Park will want to continue sort of knowing that final sort of win that they had sort of from last year. So interesting game.
And for those listening to us on Eastern FM 98.1, it's a beautiful day here. If you're not seeing the vision, it's very clear skies, very sunny. It's going to be a fast track, isn't it, Gav? And do you reckon it's going to suit one team or the other?
Well, I think Surrey's got a good bit of run off half back. They're well known for a good transition. But the game starts at the contest. If you can't get your hands on the ball, there's no use running. You've got to have someone to get it first. And I think that's where Scoresby will want to control the game in the contests, because if it does get out and open, you do fancy Surrey Park have got an advantage in that part of the game.
Yeah, without doubt. And Surrey, shown the consistency probably throughout the year a little bit more than Scoresby. But again, Scoresby come off a really nice win last week, defeating what I thought was going to be possibly a premiership side.
Ray, what do you think that says about Scoresby and that they were able to upset a Churnside Park that was in rampant form coming into the final series?
Well, look, I think Scoresby had done a fantastic job this year. Look, they were in trouble off-season as far as numbers were concerned. They put the message out. They got a lot of the old people. When I say the old people, the people who played there 3 or 4 years ago, went to other clubs. They got them back. And look, they're very slow to start off at the start of the year, but I tell you, as the season's gone on, and I believe they're just peaking at the right time.
And what do you reckon about when the reserves win, they're below us, they're singing the song?
Yeah.
Is there 15 minutes of emotional momentum for Scoresby Football Club to take with them onto the park in this game? Because when they're getting a gauntlet, guard of honour, when they come out, it feels like a home game when your reserves win, and then you can come out and you can be pumped for the game, even more than you would normally would be.
Yeah, well, look, as soon as a player comes out of the dressing rooms and they can see the numbers that are here today, I tell you what, I was at Premier at Bayswater yesterday, and there's 3 times the amount of people that were at that Baldwin Blackburn game yesterday. So that's huge for the players to run out on the ground and hear the noise and all that. And finals are finals. Some sides take a long time to settle down, and I think that's going to be the main thing today. Whoever settles down first and maybe gets a couple of goals on the board, I think they're off to a great start.
And down on the boundary line, we've got Blake Tennant, who was with us in the pre-game show. Blake, what is the track looking like out there as we figure out the microphone situation?
Hey, listeners, yes, gotcha. The ground is looking very pristine at the moment, very nice. Ground's very nice. The East Ringwood do a very good job looking after this ground. I still haven't got the toss yet. I don't know if we saw, but anyway, it should be an exciting game. I'm going to go here. I reckon Surrey Park by 25 points.
Blake, we might need your help today, because I tell you what, from up here, those clash jumpers they got on, no way known I can see what the numbers are.
Yeah, well, Ray, yell out to us and we'll get back to you on that one. So it should be an exciting day.
Yeah, with the sun beating down on the blue numbers, it's not gonna help. But we'll see how it goes.
I like the tangerine ones much better than the reserves. Yeah. But those numbers are really hard to read from up here on the back.
Oh, sorry, boys. This is those jumpers at the back. Can you see them?
We were saying we're going to have to use the camera. Megan's going to have to be on her A game today, if you can hear us under the cloth there.
Yeah, as you said, the orange in the reserves looks a lot better than the blue and grey, but they won't have to wear it if they get through to a grand final.
Okay.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Ball is held aloft here in the Division 4 preliminary final, and it's Gavin Casey to take us underway.
Surrey Park versus Scoresby. Surrey Park in the traditional strip of the black and white stripes. Unfortunately for Scoresby, they can't wear their home and away Guernsey. They're in the class strip, and they do get it going forward to Scoresby to the Mount Dandenong Road. First inside 50. Scoresby loading up. The quick kick by Marshall Marshall underneath it is higher up and under. He couldn't take the mark, so it's Surrey Park off the back of the square. Another smothered ball as it's taken by Delrain. Hand pass to his teammate who is hot. Delrain can't be the receiver again, and the tackle will result in a throw. So it's Surrey Park clearing it out, but the haphazard kick on the bounce gets to Kennedy. He does well in traffic, but he turns it over for hand pass. Hand pass forward by Frith, hoping for a teammate to run onto it like Brongeese. Brongeese now gets over the ball, and he'll be wrapped up by Nadu. So the players are just getting used to the surrounds. Hasn't been too clear yet, but it's a good contest so far.
Absolutely. So we just had a stoppage there. It's gone up. Matt Johnson gets the tap down. It's been roved there by Robinson. A bit of a high up and under disposal. The Surrey Park player underneath it is wrapped up. And that was Cal Garvin who's going to hand it to the umpire. Back to the ruck contest. It's Matt Johnson going up here against Ryan Higgins. And with the clearance here, it's Tom Smith. Hands it straight to an opponent, however. Scoresby, well, they can't handle it, and that's a high free kick. So Scoresby just had a bit of a let off there, as Marshall was fumbling a little bit. He goes to the corridor. That's an aggressive option, and was that play on, or they another bit of a let-off there as Toby Richards had a bit much optimism that he was going to be able to get away with that one, but the umpire let him. His kick was a turnover. Surrey Park now coming towards this outer side, trying to find some clear space. First to it, however, was De Geest, and he's going to be pushed over the line along with the ball, and the umpire is going to throw it in. Just in front of Craig McKenzie there, and the Scoresby interchange bench. Johnson gets the tap down. Bishop is going to try and find it, but there's a free kick, and it's going to go the way of Bishop. So Brad Bishop, young midfielder, young legs for Scoresby, and those legs have let them down a little bit as the mark's been cut off completely. Intercepted by Surrey Park, and he's just turned it over. That was good stuff by Baravicini. His kick comes unstuck, however. Surrey Park will take it away once again. Tom Smith was the target there. He's going to have to fight against a couple of Scoresby players here, and Scoresby win out. So, dancing around, that was Cooper Frith. High kick towards a contest, 2-on-2 situation there. Good punch over the top by Surrey Park. It falls into the hands of Higgins, and now the running player there for the Panthers is going to kick it into space. First to it will be Adam Bronsgeest for Scoresby, and it's a short chipping ball onto the wing in the hands of Cooper Denny now. Takes a bit of a bounce and goes towards the arc, and it's another turnover as Surrey Park intercept it.
And they got it in hand, get it to Bacon on the back of the square. They full transition now as the switch is on. It's kept in. It's actually slowed down momentum now for Panthers. That 2 kicks across the ground. Big fly, 2 grabs at it. Fallahay's got it, so he'll be leaping all day and taking some great grabs like that. But again, it's slowed down to Glare on the wing. He goes corridor. It's always dangerous, but when it comes off, it's going to open up the game for Durand. He's kicked. Again, another smothered ball. Do they know someone stands the mark? Ken Worthy gets a hand pass off, and it's Surrey Park take 2 for the forward entry for their first for the day. No mark for the leading option underneath it. As we'll get the number 20 cleared up for us just as well for Surrey Park. We'll go boundary side with Blake Tennant.
Yeah, just a quick injury update for Scoresby already. You don't want that in the first couple of minutes, but Tim Jesse, he's just limped off the ground, so we'll get a full assessment there and get back to you boys.
Thanks very much, Blake. As that throw-in has resulted in a repeat stoppage. Paolini going into the ruck now against Johnson, and it's a kick forward for Surrey Park, and it's just gone over the point line there. One behind to open the scoring for the Panthers, and it's Ben Bronsgeest to bring it back in.
Bronsgeest is looking both directions. He'll go to the outer side. Well, he hooks the kick nicely with a pull kick, and they're running now through Walker. Walker off the back of the square, goes to centre forward, so that's a quick coast-to-coast effort, but it doesn't get inside 50. The defence holds up nicely for the Panthers, and it's knocked out of bounds, Dublin Road, outer wing side. So no scores, one score yet. The scoreboard hasn't caught up with us yet.
No.
Scoresby, Surrey Park have got 1 point, and Scoresby are yet to score.
That ball was taken out of the defensive 50 too easy. Scoresby got to tighten up when they're kicking in from behind.
Yeah, Bronsgeest showing some good skills there. Just hooked the kick around to the last second with his looking like he's going to go out wider. It's a contest for the ball from the ball up. It just sort of rumbles its way into the middle of the ground, and no one can take possession. The umpire finally says, give it to me, and ball up. Centre of East Ringwood Reserve. Rucks go at it. Johnson wins the tap for Scoresby, but again, it's a battle for the ball. Ground level now. Scoresby get it out of that contest. Man in good position, second to the ball, and it will be in the hands of McBean. McBean thought he was in the open, but the pressure came late, and from 40 metres out, he's pushed his kick out wide. It's out on the full, so errant kick. No score yet for Scoresby, 6 minutes into this contest.
I think he was watching Joe Danaher the way he kicked that one, because he missed everything then by a mile.
He did get bumped, though. It was a good bump by Damon.
Ryan Long.
Around the grounds, Waverley Blues have fallen asleep in the first quarter again. Zip to Heatmont, 3 straight 18.
Wild. So back into play it is for Surrey Park. Bennett, little chipping option there to Tom Smith. True centre half back, just about.
The man we didn't think we'd ever see again.
No, yeah.
According to Josh Ward.
Thank you, Josh Ward, for that one. Nankaro was his target, and that kick, it found a contest, and there was Aaron Findlay for Scoresby. And just thrown over the thrown over the line there was Sam Porter for Surrey Park. And drawing the free kick is Scoresby. It's Findlay. So he's going to load up. Another inside 50 for the Magpies. But finding really good position there underneath the ball was Kentworthy. Playing coach of Surrey Park, of course. And his kick across the line finds Naidu. Little chipping option. The kick was a little miscued. Kenworthy picks it back up. And the target here, Vitaka, takes the mark. Kobe Vitaka. He's starred this year for Surrey Park so far. His kick was an aggressive one into the corridor, but it's been spilt here. Bishop clashes with his own man there. Sorry, it was Delrain for Scoresby. And a bit of volleyball here. Good punch away from the contest for Surrey Park. Kenworthy's going to try and run onto it, but he lost the ball in the pursuit of it over the boundary line.
I think Surrey have been trying to look for that kick in the centre a couple of times. It's worked sometimes, hasn't worked the other time. So if it scores, we can shut that down and cut it off. They'll need to find other options.
Yeah, they've got to hit their target, Scotty, if they do that, because if they turn it over anywhere in the corridor there, off goes.
So good tap down there by Higgins. It found the back of the contest. Trying to storm through there was Nankara. Couldn't pick it up. Ball in dispute now. Running onto it will be Walker for Scoresby. He's challenged there by Glare. Good tackle by Glare. That was well done.
There's plenty of glare here today.
There is a little bit indeed.
Get the sunglasses on. But and going back to that as well, like if Scoresby do cut it off, they've been very good through the centre. I just want them to lower their eyes once they go into their forward line.
Exactly. So from this clearance, taking it there was Kennedy. He just lost handle of it. And now it's found the hands of Delrain. He's going to try and burst through, get the handball away. And the umpire's called that a throw instead. So the free kick will be going the way of Sam Porter.
So here they go, running again off the back line of the Panthers. Long ball down and on the run. Nice. Really picked up by Fallahay. Fallahay looks inboard. He's got some challenges. So he finally gets on the right and he sort of scuffs it off the boot. On the run is Paolini. He's high up and under by the veteran. It'll be a hard one to mark. It might break some fingers. Eventually it comes down and at ground level, it's all Scoresby who cleared a Brongeist on the wing. Some late challenges come in, but Peters won't put off Brongeist, who goes into the middle. So we'll open up for Scoresby. Now hand pass to McBean on the run. McBean looking for options. It goes over the head of the full forward, and first winning the race back, it looks like it's Kenworthy who might concede that, or was that Garvin who concedes the point? So Scoresby get a point, and Surrey Park are also 1 point. 10 minutes into the contest, it's all wrapped up, 1 point apiece, and let's go to Blake Tennant on the boundary.
Yeah, just the injury news there, of course, for Scoresby. Tom DeGrassi is now back on the ground.
And have you got a number 20 for Surrey Park?
Okay, yeah, I can sort that out for you.
Thank you.
So Surrey Park just trying to escape their back line there. Bacon was challenged, so his kick was a bit pressure affected. The target down there was Durand. He got the tap along, but only into the hands of Scoresby player Hare. And for the first time for today, Paul Yaconi in the Stat Centre.
Thanks, Jared. The tackles at the moment are 7-3 the way of Surrey Park.
Dale Hare's kick found an intercept possession for Surrey Park, and now it's Mundy receiving the ball here on the near side. So Surrey Park trying to find some options here. Neither team's inside 50 work has been particularly great, and that one was once again not fantastic, as the mystery man number 20 has seen it over the line. And so we'll have a throw in for the Surrey Park forward line. It's 1 point apiece. Neither team has really settled into this preliminary final just yet. Seems like there are a few nerves out there. Paolini taps it right down to Bacon. He gets a kick out of a phone box. It's going to go wide, however, and the mark's been taken by Adam Bronsgeist. And his kick outside the defence finds teammates. Scoresby building here. Good mark taken there by Walker. And he's just going to hold it up a little bit as Surrey Park have pushed across well. They're going down the line. Playing a bit of checkers here as Delrain takes a diving mark. Jacob Delrain, former Baronia man. His kick went over the contest and scooped up now by Surrey Park. So turnover here. The kick across the ground finds the coach Kenworthy. He's got time and space on his side, but he's going to be chased down there. Was that a tackle? Apparently not. That was really good work by Wolnerek, but Kenworthy was able to keep his composure and find a kick inside forward 50, and the mark's been taken here by, who I believe is Nick Can.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
Nick Can is number 20, boys.
So, one of the main goal kickers here for Surrey Park. 50 goals for the year. He had a haul of 15 in round 6 against Croydon North. He's going to go around the corner with that kick. Was it just gone over the post? Let's see what the umpire says. It's a goal. Surrey Park open their account in this preliminary final. They are 1-1-7. Scoresby just the one behind. And Nick Can, a likely goal kicker throughout the day for Surrey Park. It's not surprising that he's the one that gets the first of the day.
Yeah, one of the stars of the finals last year as they made their way to the grand final. Him and Fallahay are very dynamic players at that rate. It's always exciting when Kane gets on the end of it.
If Josh Ward were here, he'd have more to say.
Yeah. Yep, he would have been much more excited than Ray, and Scott just disappeared. He said, I've had enough.
Sorry,
Johnson wins the tap forward. Delrain tries to get it through, but he can't get on the ball. He's been intercepted, but Delrain comes in for a late tackle, holds it up, centre forward.
Just quickly, I was just going to say we've played 14 minutes. It's just not showing on our schedule, but we'll have it for the second quarter.
So it's score check. It's Surrey Park 1-1-7 leading Scoresby 1 behind. It's a 6-point lead to the Panthers. Going to the left of the screen, Facebook and YouTube, and we're on Radio Eastland 98.1 as Scoresby get it inside 50. Bronkeys, he's just having a challenge for the ball, so it's been punched out by the defender. The bounce of the ball suits Fallahay, who is in the back position, spot the pace to run on the ball as it went behind the contest. He grabs it again, but he's swung in the tackle by DeGeese, and DeGeese just puts his hand up and claims a great tackle, and has got it on half back. So Fallahay just left it behind in the bounce of the ball, and he's now the tackler may have pulled a muscle in his efforts there, so he's handed over to
That's
his
the
teammate.
second time today that he's hobbled off, so he's obviously got an injury.
Yeah, it looks high in the leg, so we'll be checking that, but it's in the hands now of Marshall. So he hollered for a Marshall, and he got one, and it's now the kick doesn't find the middle too well. Kenworthy again mopping up, goes to Bacon. He's sniffing out an opportunity to go forward.
That's a good one.
As Bacon now looks right, goes left. Naidu's got the position to run, but he's going to be challenged by two. Nearly got his body knocked off, and the bounce of the ball falls into Scoresby's hands. The kick was well done by Robertson to Bronze-Geese. This time goes long down the line. One-handed effort won't be a mark to Paravicini, but he takes on a tackler on the bounce, and he can't get around him, and he's wrapped up 50 metres from goals.
Just to go back, how's the courage from Naidu there in the final?
Yeah, well, he could have seen next Tuesday if the bump hit him, but he just avoided it, couldn't take the mark. So at half forward, it's Scoresby trying to get a shot at goal, but they can't get out of this very surrounded ball up, which will avail. Umpire balls it up. Rucks go at it. Parafacini, the smaller option, tries to get over the top, but he can't get the tap to advantage. And again, the umpire will come in, ball it up. It's on the arc here at East Ringwood Reserve. Rucks go at it. Big punch out by the Scoresby ruckman, doesn't clear the congestion. So again, it's a scrap for the ball. Finally, hand pass comes out, but it's a turnover hand pass. Hare's got it. Hare scoots onto his left, loads up from 55, won't get the journey. Big man in the goal square, takes the mark, but when he got his arms up, it was after holding off the defender, and a bit of dissent will be conceding 25. So Scoresby thought they were going to have a shot at goal from point blank range, but now they don't have the ball in hand.
Surrey Park to try and work their way out of defence once more. Good low kick, decent vision, but he just overcooked it a little bit, went over the top of the target, and it was scooped up by Hare. His kick went forward, but Bacon did well to try and intercept. It's found its way into the hands of McBean. Kicks forward. Scoresby crashing in there was Bennett for Surrey Park. Wrapped up, ball up in Scoresby's forward line.
had plenty of it, Scoresby in this forward. But yeah, like I said, I just want to see him lower the eyes. Like, if they can find it. It's just unfortunate on that last free kick giveaway.
Murray gets the tap down. Bronskiest completely thrown over there as he tried to kick it. It's now come out to McBain and over the line once more for a throw-in.
The inside 50s in his first quarter are 8-5 the way of Scoresby.
That makes sense to me. Sorry, Park, just a little bit more efficient going forward. That one goal, of course. And the defence has held up really well. So Murray just tried to get the tap there. It's going to fall out the back of the contest. Picked up there by Frith. He was tackled out of it, and Surrey Park are going to get it away through Nancaro. Short chipping ball into the corridor. It was an aggressive one. It's going to come off even though it didn't hit the target. Oh, Tom Smith tackled. That's holding the ball. And Scoresby are going to hold up under the pressure. It's Bailey Marshall at centre-half back. His kick is going to find a good option there in space. Mark's been taken by Robinson.
Just find this option. Find this option.
Let's see whether or not he'll be efficient enough for that. Bronskiest was challenged in the marking contest. Janane crashes through, but only into the awaiting arms of Scoresby. Ball up. And taking it out of the ruck there was Bronskiest. Kentworthy just managed to get a handball away, and it was intercepted by a Scoresby player. He was tackled, and it's holding the ball, and Naidu will take the free kick. Cooper Frith was the man there who he caught. So Naidu goes back. It's a bit of a sticky situation here. He just managed to get it away. Matt Garvin, challenged by a tackler, gets the kick across the ground into the pocket there. Little chipping option. Good stuff. Finds number 16 for Scoresby. For Surrey Park. Not sure who that is. Nancaro ends up with it after a chain of kicks. Turnover, Scoresby. The handball finds Cooper Denny. Kicks it towards the forward line once again. Good challenge here by Bennett, who was tackled over. Naidu fires the handball out. Bouncing ball. Great tackling there by Scoresby. It's a bit of a scrap here, but crashing through and trying to clean things up was Bacon. Gets the handball over to Smith. He was tackled, but not before he got the handball away. The handball went intercepted there by Lowe, and the whistle's gone. Lowe kicked it towards centre-half forward.
There's a player down over here, boys.
Oh, there is. Oh, dear. Did not see that initially. And so the game's been stopped.
I just wanted to say in the background, I saw Garvin might have twisted his ankle there.
Okay.
Because he called straight for the trainer's help. So I just wonder if it's just one of those things where you roll it, hopefully hope for the best. But
what is it about finals, boys? To me, look, we've seen some Division 4 games this season, but I haven't seen the ball move so quickly from end to end. I know that it's a beautiful ground and the dry weather, but also I think it's a finals hype as well.
I have to agree with that. I think the players are on point, probably feeling a bit of the pressure maybe and rushing their disposal just that little bit more.
Yeah. The tackling pressure as well has been exceptional.
Just while we've got some time around the grounds, the only update at the moment is back out at Walker Park in that Division 2 semi-final, and it is deja vu. Heathmont 6-3-39, Waverley Blues yet to score.
Oh, okay.
So that is surprising, as the player who was fallen in the hands of the trainers and is coming off the ground there. See if we can get a number.
And just one more result, Mitcham and North Ringwood, 2-2-14 apiece.
Okay.
Ooh.
Boys, just while we've got a stoppage in play there, look, we'll just analyse what's happened. I think Scoresby have had a hell of a lot of the ball. I think that they've just got to score one goal, because I feel that if they can get one, the second and third one should come, because they're really, I think they've taken control in the last 10 minutes.
Correct.
So the game has restarted. Surrey Park were able to get that clearance. It's in the hands of Garvin. He's in a lot of space here, accompanied by Kenworthy, the coach. Good kick there, but it was a 2-on-1 contest against Surrey Park, and the kick's gone down through low. Scoresby, they're going to go through the corridor here, and Bronskiest was the target. Had to dive for the ball, couldn't take it. Now Porter. Good clearing kick for Surrey Park. Nancaro is on the wing there. He's in a bit of a 2-on-1 situation in favour of him. Gets the kick over the head of a teammate, and now the mark has been taken by Scoresby.
So Lowe's got it. He's looking at options. Looks left to the outer wing. Hare's got it. Long way from goal where he's the most dangerous. But he's trying to get his hands on the ball. Comes up the ground with a nice kick. Hits the leading target. So here go Scoresby inside 50. Have they got a marking option? Late arrivals. But it's all Surrey Park in defence and they'll just punt it out. Big kick from back pocket to the wing. Running onto Duran. He gets a hand pass up to Nankaro, who looks inboard. Good option. Pulls it to centre forward. Bouncing ball. Sits up nicely. And the leading option of the veteran, Paolini, takes the mark. 35, 40 metres out. He'll have a shot at goal, right pocket.
That was great transition by the Surrey Park coming out of defence then. They just worked the ball. They didn't panic. They hit targets.
Well, once they got territory, I think Scoresby had pushed up and they didn't have numbers in the corridor. Yeah. And Surrey Park were awake to the opportunities. Nancaro's kick was delightful to the running option. And I think Bacon might have been involved in the lead up to Paolini having the shot from the arc. 40 metres it is here at East Ringwood. He's pulled it, hasn't got the distance. Big fly! It's Can. He wasn't in the action until the late fly, and he's just come out of nowhere and has taken it. He'll hook around from the pocket again and hit the post. There's no arms up to the crowd this time, and that's why the Scoresby faithful are giving him a bit of stick, but it's an electrifying moment, but only resulting in one minor score. Surrey Park 1-2-8, leading Scoresby only one minor score. 24 minutes first term.
I love the Bronx cheers there from the Scoresby faithful. That's always fun to hear. So I think that's Robinson. Gets the kick onto the wing. Good mark taken in the intercepting position there for Surrey Park. Porter has done that well. Gets the kick towards Garvin. 2-on-1 situation. Really poor option. It's been scooped up. And beaten by the siren. That was Declan McBean. Scoresby very unlucky there because they were thrusting towards goal. And just the one behind for them this quarter. Surrey Park 1-2-8. Very low scoring stuff here at East Ringwood Reserve. The only goal so far has been kicked by Nick Can. And so we will join you on the other side of this break to bring you the second quarter from East Ringwood Reserve. It's Surrey Park versus Scoresby in the Eastland match of the round.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her two young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goalpost again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to East Ringwood Reserve for the Eastland Match of the Day. It's preliminary final action here between Surrey Park and Scoresby, and after just one quarter, Surrey Park 128 to Scoresby, just the one behind. We are none the wiser as to who is going to be playing Kilsyth next week in the grand final.
Can I just say, looking at these, look at Scoresby, like everyone's huddled in. Surrey Park, they've got tears. They've got tears in their spectators, allowing room. Very interesting. Very interesting. Anyway.
Look,
just wanted to point it out.
Yeah,
Thought it was
good
interesting.
observation,
Yeah, look, we've played one quarter of football, but I don't think any of us up here are the wiser who's going to win. Look, Surrey Park were first to settle down. They controlled a lot of the football in the first 10 minutes. Scoresby got back into the game, but to me, they're both playing different styles of footy. Scoresby going to the corridor, up the corridor a lot more. Surrey Park, when they tend to attack, they come across to this side here. And the reason is, I don't know why, because you can kick goals from both sides of this ground. But look, so at the way, I don't think we know who's going to win.
No, absolutely. I feel like Surrey Park, in fact, really want to use the space, want to use the open wings here at East Ringwood Reserve just to get their running game going. I think that's sort of like their mentality. Whether or not it'll pay off is a completely different question, however.
And the one thing is marks inside 50. Surrey Park have had Can and Paolini taking marks and hit-up options, actually. In converse, Murray has been getting underneath the ball, not moving a lot.
Yeah.
Bronze Geist is sort of not getting his judgment right in the marking contest. Hare's had to move up the field just to get a touch.
Yep.
So the entries inside 50s is probably hurting Scoresby, but we'll get some more comment boundary side. I think that's Blake.
Hopefully it's Blake.
Can you guys get me down there?
Yep.
We'll have to go. Sorry, mate.
Come in, Blake. A bit closer.
So we got Kane headed here, Surrey Park assistant coach. Kane, just talk us through that first quarter. Obviously, it was a very well-controlled quarter by you guys. Definitely part of your ball game. You must be pretty proud about that quarter.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think we came into the game with the focus that they're going to play that control possession, so we're trying to beat them at their own game. I think if we shift the ball through our movement, our forwards have just got to shift with us, so we've got a bit of representation down forward. We could be 2 or 3 goals up on top of this lead that we've got. We've just got to find that representation down forward.
Definitely, that was a Nick Cairn performance there. Really put his performance on really well there. Must be pretty proud of how he's going, because I feel like if he kicks one, he can definitely start on your way to victory today.
Yeah, he's a barometer for us. He's the we let him do his own thing, get to work once it's in there. We've got Pales down there as well, so he could always get at his feet. But once he kicks 2 or 3, he's a real confidence type player, so he should get us in the game.
Young Noah Bennett officially ruled out of the game, so he'd be 1 soldier down. Obviously, you got a lot of depth in there. You reckon you get still the job done?
Yeah, so we're going to push Sammy Naidu down back as a half backer, and obviously, unfortunately, Noah's done his shoulder, but that's right, we've got plenty of depth to control it down back for us, so hopefully the big second quarter coming up.
Well, Kane, all the best on the quarter ahead, and good luck for the rest of the game.
Had Kane Hendon down there, I believe used to play for Doncaster. As we go for the first time today to Dylan Smith down on the boundary line.
Yeah, busy morning for me, first time on the call, but Craig McKenzie just addressed the they talked about their just letting the boys know that they have to use their height advantage, kick it to Cooper Frith.
Ball held aloft, and it's Gavin Casey to take us underway for this second quarter.
Scoresby getting it out of the middle, the contest. They're trying to go on the outer side. Inside 50 ball, setting up nicely in defence was Peters. Comes the late punch over the top, and he kills the ball out in the pocket. So Scoresby getting the first centre clearance, but it just peters out into the right-hand side pocket. Just around from the scoreboard, which reads Surrey Park 128, leading Scoresby 1, only minor score. Let's get scores around the ground.
In Premier Division, Doncaster East lead 1-5 to 2 behind. North Ringwood lead Mitcham 3-3 to 2-2.
We've got a free kick. That's why you've stopped in your tracks there, Ryan. And it's through a shot at goal. It's in the hands of Richards, Toby Richards. will have a shot at goal. It's over the shoulder, just after the ball in. Ground level ball. Aaron tackle slipped over the shoulder, and it's Wolnarak, matter of fact, who's going to have the shot. Well, I'm getting help. Sorry if I sound confused, because I'm just working it out as we speak. There won't be a shot at goal, so we won't be marking down a goal kicker, but it's another minor score to Scoresby. Yet to kick a goal this one quarter and a little bit. Scoresby 2 points, trailing by a goal. Surrey Park 1-2-8, 1 minute into the second term. Let's go back for scores around the finals of the EFNL.
And just that Division 2 semi-final, Heathmont now 51, Waverley Blues still yet to score.
Kick right up the centre for Surrey Park's going to work well here. Bacon took the mark, handed off to Kenworthy, and his kick forward, just missed the man there. He spilt the mark. It's going to bounce into the goal square. Paolini was a chance, but it's rushed over. Surrey Park moved to 1-3-9. Scoresby just the one behind.
Boundary.
Let's go to Dylan on the boundary line.
He just got an update on Noah Bennett. He was seen leaving the car park in a sling, so not good news for them.
That is very bad news there. And probably one player who won't be taking part in the grand final next week if Surrey Park do make it. Scoresby picking their way out of defence. Mitch Walker takes the mark. High ball onto the wing. Hare's going to set himself on fly! Up goes Hare and takes down a ripper over the coach Kentworthy as well. Just to rub salt in the wound. High kick inside forward 50. Murray was the target. Scooped up here by McBean. He's lost handle on it. It's come out now to Walker. His kick into the pocket has been just dropped there by the Surrey Park defender. And fighting for it here, Surrey Park have the numbers. It's come to Haynes, and now short chipping option there by Glare. It's come unstuck for them. Scooped up by Scoresby, and McBean has taken the mark from that kick inside 50. I'd like to know...
He was your man before.
Yeah, he was. He was.
I was like, who had the odds there?
He bent over, and I saw the 2 and the 1, and I thought it was a 12. So it's a 21. It's McBean.
In the mirror.
Yeah. Thanks for that little hospital hand pass.
I know, that was... felt bad throwing you onto the bus there like that. Trying to help you out.
This is a must for Scoresby. You must kick this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a good settler here for the Magpies. If he's able to kick it, he's a reliable shot at goal. Declan McBean, he's kicked 24 for the season, and make that 25. And Scoresby move to 1-2-8 to Surrey Park 1-3-9 early stages in the second quarter.
Practice makes perfect. You have a shot earlier and you learn from your mistakes, and then you come through with...
Yes.
And it's exactly the same up here in the box.
Yeah, true, very true.
Well done. I like that.
Well, just to start that Scoresby would have spoken about it quarter time, to just get one quick and just get back on even terms of them.
Like you said, right, they would have been very disappointed they didn't get a goal in that first quarter.
Right.
They had everything on their terms. So if they can continue this into the second quarter, it'll put Surrey Park very much on the back foot.
It's interesting to see the ruck contest here. Johnson coming from pretty much underneath the umpire, where the Surrey Park ruckman comes with a leaping go at it. He does win the tap, does Higgins, and going forward now through Mundy. Long ball inside 50. A lot of noise in my ear there. It just took me off the play, but it's dwindled out from a kick. I'll recover, and I might just hand it over.
Do we have health insurance to just cover for potential loss of sound?
I'm not sure if it's coming through the broadcast, but it definitely came into my ear.
Yeah,
and Scott, you're right with me there. I lost the plot there. As of now, it's a ground level ball, kick around the corner by Bacon, and there's a mark in the goal square to Surrey Park. Back in the action. Bacon from the back of the pack hooks it around, and it's a mark to Can, and Can will line up for his second goal. He just seems to be in the right position at the right time sometimes, and it not fell in his lap. He just read it nicely, took a mark at the top of the goal square, and he's just really just talking to the umpire a lot about angles and
trigonometry
he's running, and it's just a matter of going back and putting it over the goal umpire's hat, and he does so. He's not overzealous this time with his celebrations, but he puts his hand aloft and signals another goal. And Surrey Park get a buffer out as Can gets his second.
I was wondering if he was going to run back the other end just to give it, because he missed it last time down the Scoresby end. So good on him for kicking his second.
A good answer back by Surrey Park. We're going to go goal for goal here, I think, for a little while.
Well, let's hope the velocity of the goal for goal is a bit more than what it's been so far.
Yeah.
So back into the centre of the ground. We're going to have Johnson going up against Higgins once again for this ruck contest. Good thump forward there by Johnson, only as far as Garvin. Cal Garvin dodges around a couple of players, gets the kick away into space, running up to meet it is going to be Can. Getting in his way, however, was a teammate there in Durand. And he's going to hand it back to the umpire for this ball up. So a good answer there by Surrey Park early on in this second quarter. Surrey Park trying to get the clearance, but he's been wrapped up by a couple players there. 6 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Surrey Park 2-3-15. Scoresby 1-1-7. Preliminary final action here from East Ringwood. Johnson gets the tap. Bishop tried to read it well, but it was stolen from him. On the march here is Surrey Park. Kicks it towards Can, but getting in the way. That was well done. Bronze Geist, and that's the Adam of the Bronze Geists. His kick's going to find a good option. Kenworthy came over the top, however, to completely ruin that. Naidu hands it over. Back to Kenworthy now. Back to Naidu. Tight roping the boundary line. He's gone for a bit of a run there. Delrain challenged him, but it was a really good kick inboard, and then the mark's been taken by Jamie Glare. So kicking a bit from goal, the Panthers. Lots of movement in the forward line. He's found a man in space, however, and that was a really good option. Great vision. And the mark's been taken for Surrey Park, and it's been taken by Mundy. So shot on goal here for the Panthers to get 2 in a row, and it's an important 2 in a row because it has been low scoring so far. And so to get this one would be to create a bit of a buffer against the Magpies. He's going to kick it from the 40-metre arc. It's on its way, and it's straight, and the Panthers behind the goals go up. And the Panthers on the field are celebrating. Mundy gets his first of the day.
It needed to be better manned than that inside the forward 40. Scoresby just let him run too much, and great eyes to find him.
He's had a good final series so far, Jasper Mundy. Kicked 2 goals last week in the semi-final against Kilsyth. Kicks 1 here. Not a noted goal kicker for the season, but here we are. He's finding his form at the right time.
There was some good movement from all the forwards there. Fallahay did a decoy run into the pocket. He could have ducked back, but he allowed the corridor to open up for the pass inside. Here's Scoresby getting the centre clearance. The high up and under. McBean's under it. He pushes off his opponent, just drops it when it gets to him. And it's now a ground level scrap. 30 metres out for goal. The umpire's going to call holding the ball. And it's Surrey Park doing good defence. I think it's a bit rough on the Scoresby player. He sort of got pushed over, fell over the ball, and it was hatched, and it's going to be a free kick for the defender there for Surrey Park. So just another inside 50 from a centre clearance comes to nothing. The kick has been smothered again. We've seen heaps of those. Surrey Park under heaps of pressure. McBean! He comes in, snatches it out of the hands, and he takes it on the boot. High kick. A nice goal. McBean with his second. It's a McBean and Can show, and we've got an exciting game, and it's getting physical now because the celebrations turns into a bit of angst. I think Hare said, "We mucked that up, my friend," and that's all good in love and war. It's game on. 3-3-21. Surrey Park still leading Scoresby 2-2-14. 10 minutes, second quarter. Let's go boundary side. Blake with comment.
Geez, the crowd is definitely building. There's more Scoresby than I reckon at Surrey at this stage. So they're still at the Scoresby faithful are getting very up and about at this stage.
So we are starting to go a little bit goal for goal here, which is really good to see. 7-point margin the way of the Panthers. Tap down. Bishop trying to feed it out. Fighting for it there at ground level. That was Johnson, Matt Johnson. Showing aggression there. Tom Smith, however, comes away with it cleanly. It's Can against Richards against the boundary line, and the boundary line will win out. We have gone 10 minutes in this second quarter. Surrey Park 21, Scoresby 14, and Noah Bennett will take no further part in this game for the Panthers, unfortunately. Seen in a sling by our boundary riders leaving the field. Durand cops a tackle there. That was good work by Cooper Frith. but not enough to draw a free kick. This might, though, if they're not careful. They're in a bit of a tussle. The umpires, well, there it is. There is the free kick. And it's going to go the way of Frith. Durand infringed there just by pushing him over.
Pushing him over, off the ball. No need for it.
Very silly. So the kick goes over the wing. Setting himself underneath it was Bronskiest. Taps it down, but the only player there was Naidu. He gets the kick across the ground at centre-half back. Surrey Park are going to build. Here's Mundy, the goal kicker from before. Hands it off. It's in the hands of Porter now. Kicks it to the man in space on the outer side. And that is Nankaro. Nankaro kicks it towards the 40-metre arc. Scoresby had good representation there. The ball falls into space, however, running onto it was Smith. He's going to pick it up, uses agility, but he was just in too much of a phone box, and he threw it out. So Scoresby will take the relieving free kick from the back line. Mark's been taken there by Wolnarek, and he's handed it over to Denny. Kicks it forward, out in front of a teammate there in Delrain. So Scoresby building well here. This is some good transition. Kick into the middle of the ground has found De Geest, who's had injury worries so far, but he's back onto the field, which is good to see. McBean flew for it, but it came off his hands. Kick around the corner for Scoresby. He's going to bounce towards the goals, just one behind, however. So a good build-up for Scoresby, but just came unstuck.
Just great play there quickly by James Kempworthy to fill the hole there. He could see the danger and took it upon himself to fill it. Probably made Scoresby had that shot.
Pressure on the kicker, even the umpire saying hurry up, not just the Scoresby fans. The kick comes out wide, finds Peters, so good calmness by the Surrey Park kicker outer. As now the kick goes down the line, allows the ball just a little bit up, a little bit too high for the intended Invitaka, and it's been punched out by the Scoresby
Not the place
defence.
to kick it. He was 4 opponents on him then, and he kicked it to the 1.
And Robertson came in late, so they just hold their territory, do Scoresby. Now starting to convert inside 50 into goals this term. Uncontested ruck in the end. It's bouncing around, punched on for Paravicini. He's going to use a teammate hoping he can run, but Hare's wrapped out and is taken out by Clare. So Hare's getting more involved. He's got a bit of a more on-ball wing role today. As let's see if the ruck contest is actually a contest this time. Surrey Park put Durand into it, but Durand, who's going to hold on the bigger player, and Finlay will take the free kick. Not only was he uncontested last time, this time he gets wrapped up and he'll take the kick. Ron Geest in late, but the Flyers come! Ground level ball. Well, but Porter went up too high. Free kick for who knows what. Naidu's got it, goes through the middle, and he's got it off from Mundy, giving it back to Naidu. His kick was meant to be to a runner, but Nankaro has to run back 10 metres, picks up the ball, comes back into the corridor where it's just a flock of Panthers. I don't think that's ever been said before. And it's Durand who's got it. He goes a floating ball. It's going to break some fingers there. It gets punched on by Scoresby, and it might be to the advantage of Can, who gets wrapped up, and it's another throw, gets against the person who had the ball, and the tackle is awarded for Scoresby.
Great tackle by Richards there. Exceptional.
And let's go to the stat centre with Paul Uconi.
The free kick counts in this second term are 6-2 the way of Scoresby.
6-2. So that's good pressure, I think, by them. They're winning some good.
The tackler count is also 7-3 the way of Scoresby in this quarter.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably where the free kicks are coming from. So Durand tried to cut that one off, but Scoresby are going to recover the ball. Richards gets an aggressive handball forward to De Geest. Floating kick is going to be cut off pretty easily there by Peters. So Scoresby's ball movement has been good this quarter. Just fell apart there a little bit. And Porter is the man with the ball now as we take a bit of a breath here at East Ringwood Reserve. And the kick, well, it's come over the back. Scoresby will just send it straight back into their forward line, and Ben Bronskiest is the one to take the mark there. That was a shocking kick by Porter, unfortunately.
It's been in the right spot at the right time, because it was a real shank of a kick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And if he does kick this, I reckon he'll get in the face of his opposition player, because he was the one that actually started that before down that pocket.
So in we come with Ben Bronskiest. 39 goals for the year. Kicks it from the 40-metre arc. It's straight. It's home. And that's the equaliser for Scoresby. They move to 3-3-21. Surrey Park are at just that score as well, with 15 minutes gone in the second quarter on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Very tame. He didn't actually give it to anyone. Disappointing.
Surrey Park had the ability to run the ball out of their defensive 50 very good, except once they seem to get to the centre, they turn the ball over and it comes back again. So a lot of pressure on the back six there for Surrey.
Yeah, they've held up nicely at times. The running game has been negated to a point. We'll be looking for around the ground scores in the near future as you approach time on. Second term of this preliminary final of Division 4 EFNL. Again, Scoresby win the tap, but it comes to nothing this time. Turnovers in the hands of Glare. Glare puts a high pumping ball inside 50. It didn't suit anyone in particular, so the run will come from Frith. His kick has been chopped off, so here go again, Surrey Park. It's opened up because of it's a turnover, but the kick doesn't hit up his teammate, and Lowe was in the way. Lowe goes out wide and finds his teammate, and Scoresby thankfully able to settle after a couple of mistakes each way. Long ball down the ground, and beaten all ends up was Peters. I think that's Paravicini's got it on the outer side, goes wide and long. He finds his teammate in McBean. He's outside scoring range, 50 on the boundary. So he's looking to use his right foot. He puts a ball in, and nice mark. I don't know if it was the most convincing lead, but the big boy was just too big, Finlay, and it landed just as on his outstretched hands.
It actually was a pretty good lead, Gav. I watched him because I was going to say he's now in the goal square, but he zigzagged up to that point and playing a really good second quarter.
That whole passage of play was worthy of a higher division. It really was. So let's go to the stats bench, boys.
1 sec. Finlay shooting for goals. This will be important to the Magpies, but it's a miss, and they lead by that miss. 1 point to Finlay after the big mark. Let's get some stats, because it's 22 plays 21 on the scoreboard. Scoresby now leading.
Well, the scoring's really opening up in his second term, and a lot of opportunities in the forward 50 or the forward 40 as it is today. 2 marks inside 50 apiece in his second term.
George Haynes with a lot of indecision there, and he finally got the kick away, found the contest. Jack Murray spoiled it down, but only as far as Surrey Park, so they're going to go forward. Kennedy just spilled that mark, and it's going to go over the boundary line. Throw in there, but they gained some good territory very quickly there, Surrey Park, especially for the fact that Haynes was stuck for options.
The kick was perfect. He fumbled the mark.
Yeah. Unfortunate there for Kennedy. He's a good player, a veteran. 150 plus games so far in his career. That throw in amounted to another throw in.
And I was going to say, hopefully Ryan's sign behind the goal sticks up, because it's getting an absolute pasting from the Scoresby faithful there.
There is a lot of good atmosphere at the ground today. Great crowd in Division 4 preliminary final, wading their way through Scoresby. They're showing it around. Corcoran, his handball, tried to find a teammate, but Surrey Park's pressure was too much. That teammate was Walker, and the boundary line beat them all.
How do you tell who's supporting who? They all got black polos.
Well, I feel when the kick in, they're really putting the pressure on.
So, interplay here. Oh, steaming through. That was good stuff there for Scoresby. It's a one-on-one situation at centre-half forward, but that was good stuff by Haynes just to work his man under the ball. And a short chipping option has been completely cut off there by Frith. He's going to share around with a teammate. Gets it back. Good tackle by Smith. Frith wrapped up, holding the ball. Tom Smith will win that free kick.
Looking for a rescue there by trying to duck into a high tackle. And the umpire was right onto him. He said, you've lost all prior opportunity in the tackle, and Smith will take the free kick off half-back.
So here we go. Over the top of the pack there. Good contest. Scoresby looks like they're going to... Yeah, they've managed to win it there. They found some space. Mark not quite taken by Hicks. Spoiled. Now Scoresby find it through a handball. And this is Garvin, I believe, going forward. He found a good contest there. Paolini just worked his man under the ball. He spilt it. Had help in Kennedy. And a chipping option from Kennedy. Just finds a teammate. Oh, he spilt it too late there. It hit the ground. And it's going to be a ball up.
He was hoping the umpire was in the different position, but the umpire was in the perfect position to see that drop.
Indeed. So Paolini to go into the rock contest here against Johnson. Bouncing ball, scooped up by Lowe. Kicks it forwards. over the top there. This is Hicks. Desperation stuff here. Frith was in it. Good tackling by Surrey Park. It's found its way to Porter. Bouncing ball. Smith body-lined his opponent there. And Paolini's picked it up from the junction of the boundary and the 40-metre line. Paolini, what a sharp shot there from him.
That was Falahay Shepherd. How do you like it? Well, that's his goal.
Well, Paolini's just claimed goal of the year for the division, I reckon, because that was a wicked kick.
That was excellent, wasn't it? That was very on point. Surrey Park moved to 4-3-27, Scoresby 3-4-22. So, goal for goal here as we tick into time on.
Let's go boundary side, Dylan.
Yeah, just on that conversation about identifying the fans, from down here on ground level, it's all in the opposition slurs. That's how you find out who it is.
Fair enough. They don't follow the full forwards today, but Paolini, for a big man to be skirting the boundary line and to pull it around from the acutest of angles was beautiful to watch. And what was beautiful to watch for the Panthers is the tackle being rewarded. Garvin wrapped up his opponent on the outer wing, gets the free kick for holding the ball. He's got an inboard option, does spot his teammate, and it's in the hands of Blair. I'm not sure who that is. Paolini's underneath it. The big boy has a grab at it as he tries to push off 1, 2, 3 opponents. And at ground level, he attacks the ball, and that's great, inspiring play from the leader. And it will be a ball up 40 metres out from Surrey's goals.
And just on that, we do have a number 16 out there for Surrey Park. They'll be
just trying to get a handle on that. Paolini wrestling in the ruck contest, but Scoresby can't pick it up, but they've had 3 attempts, 3 players do it. Finally, one comes to the party and a hook around to the back of the square. He has kept the ball in hand for the Magpies. Looking at options, Bronkeast in his own defensive area, takes the ball as they go the switch. Now the beautiful pass finds Corcoran. Late coming in was Paolini, and Corcoran didn't see him coming. The umpire said it's only just a bump, but that's a turnover from an indiscretion, and you don't need to tell Paolini that he mucked up, and the umpire agrees and says Paolini, he's fallen over like he's about to retire. He did once, but now he's come back, and a big fly! Can, of course. It's all happening. Paolini got the free kick, fell over like he had no legs, finally kicked it, and Can took a screamer.
Check out the replay on that one. What a grab.
My word.
Straight to the pool room.
That was a vertical leap from out of this world, and if he seals this, we'll see a celebration that is out of space as well. But let's wait on the kick. Can has kicked 2. He's now looking for his 3rd, and what was a dead level game only 5 minutes ago is now pushed out to 11-point margin as Can kicks his 3rd, and the Surrey support behind the goals signal another one. Surrey lead 33-22 in this second term of the preliminary final.
Once again, the momentum switch. Surrey now are back in control. Two very quick goals there, and look, Scoresby, they've just got to try and slow the game down, I believe.
Yeah, I think that is the Surrey Park end. He's very much copying it, that individual.
Oh, yeah. Paolini is getting into him as well. Or maybe it was the other way around. So Higgins gets the tap down. Smith trying to rove it. It's going to come out here. Good kick off the ground for Scoresby. He's going to find a contest. Denny up against Nancaro. It just bounced well, sat well for Nancaro. He's going to have to be agile here. Just keeps the ball in front of himself. This is really good individual stuff by Nancaro, and I think he might have drawn the holding the man free kick as well. So he's going to chop it inboard there for Bacon. And he says slow things down a little bit because we are ticking into time on. No need to take too many risks at this point. 2-on-1 situation in favour of Surrey. Mundy, however, does well to keep it in front of himself. He's challenged by Bishop. And the man there is for Scoresby. I think it's Low.
Yep.
And he was wrapped up. It's a ball up. 24.5 minutes gone in this second quarter. Surrey Park just finding the ascendancy here. Good tackle laid by Scoresby as Durand couldn't go any further. So the ball up's going to happen just on the 40-metre arc here at East Ringwood Reserve. It's down the end of Surrey Park currently. Higgins just won up that ruck contest, and Smith looping handball over to Kennedy. Had a little bit too much mayo on it for him, and so Hare was able to capitalise. Gets it to Walker. Just a bit bouncing ball forward. Now in the hands of Peters for Surrey Park, and his kick found the corridor. Good lead-up option. He turns around, kicks. Oh, they just looked at each other, says, who's going to go for it? Renan Fallahay finally went for it, and it's his snap that's just going to sail over the boundary line out in the full.
Just a bit of miscommunication there, right?
There certainly was. They both looked at each other and said, I don't want it.
No,
you take
you take it. You take it.
So Scoresby to kick it back in, and standing underneath it there was Adam Bronsgeist. Just going to step around Paolini and just kick it straight into the man in front of him, who was Vitaka. Vitaka's scrapping for it. Is that a holding the ball decision? Yes, it is. And Adam Bronsgeist just mucked that one up a little bit. And Paolini will take the free kick for Surrey Park. He's got one goal already, an excellent goal. It was before.
He didn't take his time. Look, the 26-odd minutes into the quarter, you're nearly 2 goals down. Slow it down, play it out till half-time, and then start again.
It was a rush of blood there for Adam Bronsgeist.
Well, Paolini was a stationary option. He knew he was past him, but he didn't see Vitaka coming for the smother.
Right.
So Paolini marches in just to extend Surrey Park's lead. The kick's on its way. It just went across the face, however, on the one behind. So Surrey Park advanced forward 1 more point. They move to 5-4 at 34. Scoresby 3-4-22.
Look at this line across the centre of the ground here that Surrey Park have got set up. There's a wall there. If they get the kick comes out.
Can he redeem himself with the hitting the target, Bronsgeist? He sort of, in effect, it goes under the back and Vitae. And then it's a cut-off kick by Scoresby, and it's in the hands of Peters. So Peters, who's been a general down back, again, he'll load up as there is the siren for half-time as Peters claps his team. He's happy with the scoreboard. Surrey Park 5-4-34, leading Scoresby 3-4-22. It's a 2-goal lead at half-time to the Panthers in this preliminary final. The winner will play Kilsyth next week for the Division 4 Premiership for 2023. I'll just go through the scorers before we go to our break. It's 3 goals to can for Surrey Park. Paolini and Mundy 1 each. The multiple goal kicker for Scoresby is McBean with 2, and Ben Bronsgeist has got 1. You're tuned to Radio Eastern 98.1. You may be watching on Facebook and YouTube. The scoreboard reads Surrey Park leading at half-time in the preliminary final, 34-22.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Do you want to study at the #1 sports science school worldwide? Study sport at Deakin and benefit from the most advanced sports facilities available, from running tracks to biomechanics labs, and decked out gyms to a climate chamber. Deakin have what you need to graduate ahead of the pack. Discover endless opportunities in sports science by visiting deakin.edu.au/sport. Deakin, proud sponsors of the EFNL.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Yes, welcome back to Eastland Match of the Round. Preliminary final action out here at East Ringwood Reserve at half-time. It is Surrey Park leading Scoresby 5-4-34 to 3-4-22. A handy 2-goal lead coming into the halftime break. I'm Ryan Long, joined by Dylan Smith and Blake Tennant here, who'll be coming back from his bathroom break in just a moment. But Dylan, your thoughts down on the boundary today? It's been a pretty interesting first half. Been very quick, a lot of turnovers, but both sides have had plenty of the football and plenty of opportunities to hit the scoreboard, and certainly makes it for an interesting second half.
Yeah, I think a lot of those turnovers, you have to put some of that down to the conditions, because, I mean, it's obviously perfect conditions for football, but they haven't played in conditions this warm. You can see the players coming to the boundary line and they're physically fatigued from that heat. They're, sweating profusely and stuff like that. So I think that's playing a big part with the turnover side of the game. I've sort of seen the contest stuff kind of go in favour of Scoresby. I think they've been the better team at the clearance around the ball. They've got those big bodies. Players in there like Jack Murray. I think he looks like a Game of Thrones character. He's in there like smashing people up and stuff. So he's been fantastic getting the ball down to those mids. And I think in the contest and clearance stuff, they've really been on top. It's just inside 50. They haven't been able to find that target. They've obviously had the likes of McBean do pretty well, but compared to Surrey Park, they've just sort of controlled that transition side of the game, and when they've gone inside 50, they've had Nick Kahn there to kind of give them a moment of brilliance, or Paolini or someone like that that's kind of kicked an amazing goal. So looking at the scoreboard and it being a 2-goal margin, I think that's really the only difference at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I look at McBean as the guy who can break this game open up forward and certainly turn it on, kick a 3 or 4 goal, and probably put Scoresby in front. I think he's got the potential to do so. Blake, what have you thought down on ground level at the first half? It's only 2 goals and certainly well and truly in it. I thought they were maybe a little unlucky with a couple of free kicks, Scoresby, and then back there is a game changer where they won the free kick against, was it Paolini that had the free kick, and then I can't remember who it was, but came in and bumped him, knocked him over, and it was a reversal, ended up in that canned goal.
Then he got sniped from the crowd, shot in the calf.
Yeah, so it's a funny game. It was actually quite an interesting passage of play.
It is. And, credit to Scoresby. I think we've got to be pretty proud of the way they've gone about the game so far. We're only 2 goals down against a very hungry Surrey Park team in my eyes. I'm pretty proud about the way they're going. And I reckon the supporter base that they've got today is going to bring them alive. I just feel like, yes, they are supporting them, but it's also bringing them together. And, I can definitely see that the players are lifting with the supporters that they have gone around. But yeah, geez, Surrey Park, fast start, like that quarter to kick 2 goals to, I think, 1 that quarter. So definitely going to be, it's still alive. I'm still saying this game is well and truly still alive, and it's going to be interesting to see who will take home and play Kilsyth in the grand final.
There's going to be a lot of momentum swings as well, obviously, and it's going to be who can capitalise, Dylan. And obviously, Scoresby have probably not quite been able to do that compared to Surrey Park, and they've had it more inside 50s, I think, overall. As you said, they've probably won the clearance battle, really. And
I think Blake makes a good point there with the crowd, and that's sort of, they're getting that energy around the ball, that and the pressure's really high as well. I think one of their big strengths in this game has been the pressure, the ability to get the ball back off Surrey Park. But like I said, they don't seem to have that transition game down as well. You could see there sometimes they build the ball up and just make that wrong kick inside 50, whereas Surrey Park just seemed a little bit cleaner in that area. But I think definitely, if you look at the score again, as I said, like 2 goals as the margin, they're probably a little bit stiff that it's not even closer than that.
Yeah, but it probably should be. I mean, for that last 5 minutes, Surrey probably had that presence up forward and were able to kick those last 2 goals. But other than that, it's been back and forth. It's been very even contest. We're going to get our tips in a moment from here to see who we think will finish out winners. But just some scores around the grounds now. I updated this one a bit earlier. Heathmont 8-3-51. Waverley Blues yet to score. That was about 20 minutes too, so maybe it's a Waverley Blues fan that's doing the scores and has just said, well, that's enough. I'm not counting any more Heathmont goals.
Well, I just saw on the Heathmont socials that they are the correct score.
Have we got an updated one? Is that anything further from there?
I haven't checked my Heathmont.
I'll get you on that one. We'll jump into Division 1. Not many games today.
Just really hasn't held up in finals, has it?
No, it has. I mean, I was shocked last week, and I'm a little more shocked again today. And any chance of a North Ringwood preliminary final looks in doubt at halftime. They trail Mitcham 3-4-22 to the Tigers, 10-62. So I don't think they kicked a goal that quarter, and Mitcham kicked about 6 or 7. So they're leading quite comfortably. And at halftime at Jubilee Park in the Premier Division elimination final, it's Doncaster East 5-7-37 to the Roos 1-3-9. So that's probably a little bit of surprise to see how slow of a start East Ringwood have made.
It is. I will just say I've got all those tips right so far. So
have you really?
Yeah. I'll
you tipped Donny East?
Tipped Donny East and tipped Heathmont. So.
I tipped East Ringwood and I tipped Waverley Blues. I'm about 2 from 10 from the first couple of weeks.
Well, I did say that Heathmont in the pre-game that they could win, and you got a bit puzzled, Ryan. You go, do you think they could win?
No, I think they can win today. I didn't think that the flag. I still don't think they can.
I don't think
is
they
that
can
what
win
you?
flag.
Oh, is that?
That's what I was going off.
Bad. That was my bad.
Have you got an update? Have Heathmont updated their socials at all?
No, I haven't seen anything yet.
I think they're a good matchup for the Waverley Blues, just the way that they defend the ground. I think you guys spoke about it on the podcast a little bit, but their sort of ability to defend that turnover, and that's kind of the way that Waverley Blues like to score.
Yeah.
I think over the season they were 1-1 and Waverley Blues got them in that second game, but in that match I think Heathmont had quite a lot of players out and some of those sort of classier forwards that are going to give them the score. But yeah, I think that one, Waverley Blues have just ran into 2 teams that have just hit form coming into the finals in Templestowe and Heathmont and just come unstuck.
Yeah, it's only an interesting one because last year they were so dominant in the home and away season, and their 2 finals they were 2 very close games. So very interesting to see. Maybe there's a second half comeback coming. We're not too sure. But back here, Surrey Park lead Scoresby 5-4 to 3-4. Your tips for the second half? Can Scoresby win it from here, or do you think Surrey Park are going to be too strong?
They definitely can win it. Going into the game, I tipped Surrey Park, and like I've sort of said throughout here, I just think they have just a few extra classier players on top, that cherry on top. So I'll stick with Surrey.
Yeah, Surrey for me. I think 16 points.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Surrey Park from here. We'll be back after the break to jump into the second half of the preliminary final.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy to use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
We pride ourselves on being the most transparent funeral company. All pricing on goods and services are available on our website. It's all there for you to see and make very informed decisions when planning a loved one's funeral.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season, bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to East Ringwood Reserve for the Eastland Match of the Day. Division 4 action here. It's preliminary final time. One of these teams will advance to the grand final to play Kilsyth. Currently, Surrey Park lead 5-4-34 to Scoresby at 3-4-22. Thank you very much to the guys on the halftime show. And we'll get us underway. Gavin Casey for the third quarter.
It's 34 playing 22. The lead to Surrey Park is Scoresby going towards the Mount Dandenong Road end, but it's Surrey Park with the first inside 50. Can was looking like a bit of a predator, but only comes to the contest late to punch it forward. Fallahay is in there, but he can't get the hand pass away. Punch forward by Frith. He's trying to clear the area. And it's a throwing free kick, and it'll go the way. Free kick will go to Scoresby. Corcoran's got it at centre-half back, just as Fallahay had it in hand, and was going to inject some scoring opportunity. Long ball, push off. Well, that was too obvious against Nadu. So it's a free kick to Scoresby outer wing. It's in the hands of Bishop. Bishop loads up a long ball, high up and under. McBean's underneath it. Had to go one-handed as he's fending off his opponent. Ground level ball, won by the Magpies. The hand pass forward is chopped off by Bacon. He clears the area to Smith on the bounce, takes it. He invites a tackle because he hand passes out to Nadu. Into the open they go. And now the kicking board finds on the bounce for Tarka. He just spills it when he wanted to spend it. And it's now going to be in the hands of Scoresby, just holding up in defence. Bronchies might have, suggests he got pulled off the tackle. It does go to Surrey Park eventually after all the bumbling around at half forward. Oh, what a mark! It was a pack of 2 on 2. And coming up with the ball is Mundy. He went for the rise and it landed on his stomach and he gripped it in, and he will have a shot from 20 out in the right hand pocket.
Great strength there.
So he just had great position and he held all opponents off as he leapt for the ball. As the left footer from the right pocket, it's awkward looking, but it's beautiful in its flight. It's another goal to Mundy and another goal to Surrey Park. They now extend their lead to 18 points early in this third term. 6-4-40 plays 3-4-22.
Jasper Mundy has kicked 5 goals for the year, 4 of them in the final series.
Okay, fair enough.
He is the X factor, is Mundy.
So he's been pretty impressive so far for Surrey Park. They push forward to 6-4-40, Scoresby 3-4-22. And this gap of 3 goals could be a little worrying for Craig McKenzie on the boundary line for Scoresby. So back into the centre we go, trying to get the clearance. Scoresby, it comes out to Hare. He dodges one tackle. That was really well done. Johnson was the handball option, but it's been stolen away there by Glare. High ball towards centre half forward for Surrey Park. It spills out. Fallahay fighting for it. Just got bumped off the ball. And defending the ball well there, the Magpies. And it's a holding free kick. And it's going to go the way of Scoresby. A little bit after the fact there. A little bit of pushing action as well. Try not to give away the free kick here. So spending it before he earned it there, the Scoresby player. That was Paravicini. And there's a free kick now going the way of Lachlan Bacon. Spearing ball inside forward 50. Had a perfect option there for Can, but he was well held. And Toby Richards did well to not give away the free kick. Let's go boundary side with Dylan Smith.
Yeah, just got an update on that mystery player for Surrey Park. Number 16 is Mitch Gale, who wasn't on the team sheet.
Mitch Gale, thank you very much for that one, Dylan. So we'll have the throw in here in the pocket. Surrey Park just have the territory advantage so far. The handball comes out, finds Johnson, the big ruckman for Scoresby, and it's a downfield free kick because he was hit off the play. Lowe will take it for the Magpies, and his kick, thought it was a bit of a shocker there for a second, but Robinson made it good. They're trying to find the corridor. Now it's Hare, and kicking it out to the outer side. Bronskis takes the mark, handballs it off, gets it back, tackled, but got the kick away anyway. Now, what's Wollenreich going to do? Dances around a little bit, gets the kick forward, and it's been cut off pretty easily there by Peters. Surrey Park now playing on. Spearing ball, good option. And just holding up the play here is Surrey Park. Kick over the top there, and another nice mark taken. The Panthers moving forward with a bit of purpose now. Higgins just finding the right boot there towards centre half forward. Paolini was the target, but out the back, and the mark's been taken by Vitaka.
Everyone was concentrating on Paolini, weren't they? Yeah.
Yep, no focus out the back, and you just sat there.
That's right.
Thank you.
So Surrey Park will do well here to get a 4-goal margin. Kobe Vitaka marches in. Kicks on its way. It's a spearing one. That is as straight as you like, and Kobe Vitaka is making sure that Surrey Park look like they will be playing Kilsyth in the grand final. I wouldn't count Scoresby out just yet, but this is a dangerous start to the third quarter for them.
Well, the writing's on the wall for Scoresby at the moment. You know, they must kick the next one at least.
And it was just that composure, right? Like over that far side, they had numbers there. They had 3, and they botched it, turned it over, and it results in a goal.
But Scotty, everything that they're doing there, it's so much cleaner, Surrey Park.
Yeah, there was an overlap play there with Bronski,
right.
East and Corcoran, and they were just sort of standing still after the hand pass,
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
So Rucks go out at middle of East Ringwood Reserve. The tap's won by Johnson. Gets Scoresby going forward. Bit of momentum as they charge towards it. 50. Again, Surrey Park's defence for Peters is holding up nicely, but he's left it behind. Walker's snapped it around the corner. It might bounce through. Last line. Defending, nicely done by Haynes. A bit of a goalkeeper. He sort of knocked it over the bar in theory, but it's a minor score, and it's 23 points the margin. Surrey Park 46, lead Scoresby 23. The kick out is beautiful to Tom Smith. Leaps straight up, the little man takes a nice overhead. He's got a lead option from Mundy, a long way from goals. He's been great today. He's got inboard. He's putting a bit of pressure on. Bacon was underneath it, got crunched by 2. He was like the bacon sandwich there, and it's come off for Scoresby. Running through the middle now. They run through Frith. Frith now from 50. His kick was pushed off as he went forward, but a mark on the line. Beautifully done by McBean. Running with the flight of the
free
ball.
kick after, isn't it?
Well, it's definitely a mark to McBean.
Mark
if it's a
anyway.
free kick, it's academic.
He got flattened after he kicked it in the centre of the ground there.
From the goal line, the mark was taken between the goal post and the minor post, and it's a very acute angle. He'll have some space to run inboard and hook it around on his left. He does that, and he does it nicely. McBean with his third keeps Scoresby within touching distance. 4-5-29, 17-point margin as Surrey Park lead 7-4-46.
As I said before that goal, they've got to get the next one. They've got one, let's get the next one and get back into the game.
Very important goal there for McBean. He's looking like a very likely option for Scoresby in the forward line. Might trouble Surrey Park's defence as the game wears on.
And the margin isn't too difficult for Scoresby to overturn it. Just needs that composure, like we're saying, right?
You're very right. 8 minutes gone in this third quarter already. And Frith just got a bouncing ball away. Picked up by Delrain, had an option in Hare over the top, and his kick just came off the side of the boot. Well read by Porter. And Surrey Park will repel from defence. Nancaro takes a mark out in front of himself. That was good. Ran onto it. Kick towards Vitaka. Another mark taken. Surrey Park building well. He's got a man out there in the pocket. Reading it well is Mundy. Takes a safe grab. That was fantastic stuff there. Great ball movement. And Mundy knew exactly where to be for Vitaka's kick.
Every time Surrey Park come forward, it's a set play. There's always a player that runs to the centre half forward and is on his own by 30 metres at least.
It's the man up by Scoresby needs to tighten up.
Yep.
So Jasper Mundy, the man of the finals so far for Surrey Park. Can he kick? His third for the game? No, not quite. It's just gone to the right, and the one behind Surrey Park moved to 7-5-47. Scoresby 4-5-29. Do we have some scores around the grounds, Ryan?
Yeah, just a couple of one-sided results. Semi-finals, Mitcham lead North Ringwood 74-23, and in Division 2 semi-final, it's Heathmont leading Waverley Blues 72-14.
It's a rebound from the kick out into Vitaka's hands. He's going to have a shot at goal, but he's run down from behind. Scoresby quick to react to the free kick with De Geest taking the advantage. Hand pass doesn't lead to much, so De Geest again goes in. Kicks around the corner, along the line, the wing. The boundary might have Surrey Park just recompose themselves, and it's out of bounds, out of wing, Dublin Road side of East Ringwood Reserve. And it was all action there as we got scores around the grounds. So Waverley Blues, they might go out in straight sets.
Yep, and then Mitcham look pretty much home. I doubt there'll be a comeback there.
So boundary throw in, dead centre wing, outer side. Scoresby wanted to get their hands on it, they overrun it. The bouncing ball finds its way to Kennedy in the middle for Surrey Park. He's high and up and under. Surrey Park just waiting on ground level because it hits there, because three defenders went up. They didn't know they were all going for it at once and allowed Surrey Park to rove it, but it's errant shot at goal and a let-off for Scoresby. 7-6-48 to Surrey Park, leading by 19. Scoresby a 4-5-29, 10 minutes third term.
That could have been a direct copy because, again, Scoresby, all three defenders, like you said, Gav, went up and no one out the back waiting.
Bronze Geese had a good option to kick out. It was Hare on his own, and he's kicked it straight to the opposition coach in Kenworthy. So good intercept mark there. Kenworthy patrolling that part of the ground well. His kick just was a little overcooked there, and it's going to end up in a skirmish. Surrey Park need to keep their composure. They've done just that until Porter was tackled. Ball spills out. Porter works his way free. Bacon now. There's a lot of pressure there, and Smith's kick forward was ill-directed, taken by Richards. He's going to run on with it. Gets the handball clear. Walker is there. He's going to be challenged now by Naidu. Naidu had help. However, he held Richards, and the free kick is going to
jumper there,
yeah, a little bit. So I think this is actually Walker to take the free kick. And, well, Haynes did well to work his man under the ball. Didn't take the mark, but had a lot of time and space. Should have used it a little bit better because he nearly kicked it straight to Delrain. Surrey Park are under pressure here as Porter was tackled, and that's holding the ball. Or incorrect disposal, perhaps. No, it was held without it, and Porter will take the free kick. Bit of relief there for the Panthers. As the kick's going to come out from centre half back. No mark taken there. But Garvin did well enough to get a bouncing ball. And just trying to find the boundary line there was Bishop. Just for a bit of breathing room and some safety and some space for Scoresby, because Surrey Park really are pressing. 12 minutes gone in this third quarter. Preliminary final action here in Division 4. Thank you for tuning in on Eastern 98.1 FM, or the YouTube and Facebook streams, of course. Surrey Park lead 48-29. As we await the throw-in, Surrey Park with the momentum currently, but Scoresby, they're not going to be out of it. And the throw-in was a little skew-if, so we'll bring it back. Findlay to go up in the ruck here against Durand. And Durand gets the tap down, nearly taken there by Gale. However, Hare did well enough to steal it from him, got the clearance. His kick was disputed, however, and Garvin got the handball to a teammate. That teammate just kicked it right out in the full. And to take the free kick will be Johnson, or Findlay, sorry. Paul in the stat centre.
The clearances in this third term are 5-3 the way of Surrey Park.
That might be where they're building from here. And Hare has taken a good grab down the line. Just huge kick towards their forward line, but yeah, it was...
It's just so disappointing. Like, they really need to just lower their eyes. They have the options. They're winning the ball, and now they get this turnaround from Surrey Park.
So Surrey Park there through Durand, kick it across the ground. It's been scooped up. He's going to have to work his way through some pressure. Can Porter. His kick was under pressure. And, well, the mark was taken, but the free kick was actually picked out first. So De Geest will take it.
He's holding the man there in that battle when the ball wasn't yet.
So Tim De Geest, good to see him out on the ground and working his way into the game. And was that a bit of a hit there?
Well, it was a low blow is what you call it.
So poor Tom Robinson is going to be feeling that one. Passed it off to Walnerek. Walnerek's going to go forward here for Scoresby. Hare was the spare option, so they're trying to switch the ball up. Hare, that was a really good kick by him this time.
Now they've got to use it.
Yeah, finds a teammate in Toby Richards. And he kicks one over the top to Corcoran. Scoresby just held up a little bit here. The ball movement's not been as fluent as it was earlier today. And they've just kicked it to the pack there, and Surrey Park's going to stand underneath it, and it's a good mark taken by Peters.
I don't mean to harp on, but like, I'm happy with that slow play. They just need to slow and look for a better option. They slowed it, and they did the same option that hasn't worked for them the past 5 times.
That's exactly it. So Matt Garvin now. A little kick there was it was questionable, but it was well taken by Garvin. And now Bacon handballs it to a running player. Porter's there for help. He's going to try and step around De Geest, but he did not see McBean coming up behind him, and Declan McBean catches him holding the ball. Scoresby will take advantage from this. Will they use it? It's in the hands of Bishop. Kicks it towards that same spot where they keep turning it over. And it's going to happen once again if they're not careful. Surrey Park apply the pressure, but the boundary line will win out.
What do you reckon, Ray?
The same thing, exactly the same thing, Scotty. That's right. They haven't learnt by their mistakes.
They're costing themselves this.
That's right. It's not working. Try something else.
Switch it. Do something.
Yeah.
Well, if you're pushing players upfield, you've got to realise you can't just kick it long. Because
that's it.
Peters is the only one reading all this play. None of their forwards are there for that option. Maybe they need a series of shorts and maybe never go long unless they're certain of an option. It's now again. Scoresby are doing well off calf back. Brongeese was amongst it. And Richards. Now the hand pass open to McBean. McBean gets onto the running Delrain. From 45, he loads up a long ball. It's going to be marked. Close to the line. Maybe Brongeese has taken the goal away from Delrain, but he puts it through to make sure of it does, Ben. Ben Brongeese gets the goal, and they've earned it through effort. It's been a lot of perspiration. Can they find inspiration from this moment? The 5th goal on the board closes it down to 2.
It works, doesn't it?
I'm just saying.
The first time they've gone in and they've changed it up instead of just bombing it down.
That's it. Give it a shot. Try. See what happens. And you might get the result, and you then chip away at that margin.
But the thing is, it wasn't a slow play, so maybe they felt like they were forced to kick it to whatever options they had.
They've been bombing it from the centre square. Get the ball inside 50 if you want to bomb it.
Yep. Yep. I just think better option.
So Surrey Park have been on top in the clearances. This is no exception as Tom Smith goes forward, but a really good intercept mark taken by Adam Brongeest. So the Brongeest brothers doing it at either end for Scoresby. His kick is a bit of a speculative one because it's found a one-on-one situation there. Surrey Park will win out. It's back to Smith. Now hands it over to Bacon. Bacon takes a bounce, runs to 40, kick on the way. Can they get one back, Surrey Park? No. Don't you love that?
he was right here. Bacon was right.
The umpire patted his back.
I thought Josh Ward was here. Yeah. The way you screamed out then, Jared.
Scoresby back into it. They've moved the ball quickly to the centre. No mark taken. He's been wrapped up there, and Surrey Park will turn it over. Oh, not if Bishop has anything to say about it. Thrown over by Durand. Got the handball out anyway. That was good work by Ken Worthy. Looping handball, but it's going to find a Scoresby player. He was tackled out of it. Absolute pile up out there on the wing now. The umpire's going to have to come in and break it up. So a bit of a rush of blood here as 14 points is looking less and less here as Scoresby control the ball a little bit more, and Surrey Park have wasted a couple of opportunities going forward. So Surrey Park find the clearance there. It's a one-on-one situation. It was a great kick, brilliant use of the body by Cooper Frith. And he's going to go back and try and kick Scoresby's 6th for the day.
I'm going to take credit for that one too, because all the others they were bombing in were landing outside the 50. That was 20 metres inside the 50 where he marked it, over the head of the defence.
I think Mbee knows what he'd rather. As a forward, he knows what he wants to see.
Exactly right.
So he made it happen.
Yeah.
So here we go, Cooper Frith, 22 goals for the year. Can he add to that? Scoresby are not out of it yet. It's an 8-point margin here on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Surrey Park 7-7, 49 to Scoresby 6-5, 41. 19 minutes gone in this third quarter, and it's really tightening it up, isn't it, Gav?
Well, see, 2 quick goals, and they can put themselves back and where it's approachable now. Yep. They can get another one now.
Well, we need to know more scores around the finals of the FNL.
Premier Division Elimination Final, Doncaster East 8-9-57. East Ringwood 2-4-16, 15 minutes into that third quarter.
Is that considered an upset, Ray?
Yeah, the margin certainly would be.
Back in the middle, this game's closed, and now we've got an exciting contest. Scoresby, last 2 goals, just playing a bit of a lower running game instead of slow and then long. Now they'll go long from the centre clearance. Hicks loads up a long ball. Plenty of people underneath it. Ground level ball's a bit of a scrap. Big man Murray can't get, he finally bends down to pick the ball up. Now he's besieged by the defence, it's bobbling around. Again the dynamic McBean gives it over to Johnson. One step, kicks it to the top of the goal square. Ground level ball, defence holds up. Ken Wervik squats it over for a minor score. Now Surrey Park look under a heap of pressure. Possession turning into territory, turning into scores.
Scoresby have put themselves in a position now where they've got a sniff here. They've got a sniff.
42 plays 49. It's Surrey Park still leading by 7 points. Time on, third turn.
So Haynes will kick it in here for Surrey Park. Had an option out wide. Mark's been taken. Little chip over the top there. And Gale takes the mark. He's got that handball option there. Hands it back now to Glare. Kicks it right in front of us here. Great mark taken by Paolini down the line. What options does he have forward? Yeah, there are numbers there. Can is one of them. He sets himself, but over the top. Oh, it was Durand. He couldn't quite take it. Had to follow up the work. He's been wrapped up. Ball up in a dangerous spot here for Surrey Park.
Surrey Park had big numbers there. Good defence by Scoresby. Exceptional work this late in the third quarter.
Durand will take the ruck contest against the bigger Johnson. Use of the body was good there for Durand, but Scoresby looked to get the clearance. Kick was smothered. Durand stands under it and takes it and is tackled by 2 defenders. Another ball up basically in the same spot.
Would have been better if it was Bacon. Real sandwich there.
So Johnson, from the clearance there, it was Bacon, couldn't quite take it. Over the top goes Garvin, gave away the free kick, I thought. Yep. And Ryan Hicks will take it for Scoresby.
Some tired bodies for Surrey in there, number of them.
So Scoresby, they weathered the storm well there. As Surrey Park was starting to press for another goal to try and extend that lead. But now Scoresby controlling it through Marshall. Good option here. McBean flies. All the Surrey Park go down. The player who stands up was Frith. He kicks it inside forward 50. Punched away from that contest. Kenworthy takes it and he's tackled. Delrain holding the ball. Decision there. That was excellent stuff by Jacob Delrain.
Good umpiring.
Yeah.
Because he was wanting to hand pass it and he could have.
Yeah.
So he got holding the ball.
So Delrain is right at the junction of the 40-metre arc and the boundary line.
He's had a nice third quarter.
Yeah, absolutely he has. So what confidence does he have in himself to kick this one? He's a right footer, and that was his undoing in that situation as he's just got the minor score. But that puts Scoresby 1 straight kick behind. It's 7-7-49 to Scoresby 6-7-43. Surrey Park still leading, nearly 23 minutes gone in this third quarter. Preliminary final action here from East Ringwood Reserve.
It's a bit of a storm going to the Mount Dandon on Road End, but Surrey Park, they're electrifying when they get up and running. but they're deciding to slow it down, knowing momentum's against them. The kick's going to be chopped off, going slow, might not work out, but thankfully the interceptor didn't intercept in the end. Bacon's on the end of a couple of hand passes. His kick went out to the back flank, finds an open player in Nankaro. Nankaro's got another open player in Clare. He leaves it for Paolini to lead into it, hits up the chest mark. He's now galloping on the wing, loads a long ball. Where's electrifying Ken? Too late. Oh, what courage! Courage from both players, but standing up to the pressure was Waldner-Rick, and his kick goes out wide, and the switch is on in Denny's hands. Denny goes long down the ground. Bronze-Geest has got it on the wing. Can Scoresby set up a quick fire score? And now the long ball finds it open forward. Late intercept doesn't work out. Now the kick inside 50 on the bounce finds the man in. Oh, bad kick there by who was that? Was
Riley Frith.
Yeah. Frith. He was just on the bounce. I think he confused himself, knowing he was straight in front, but had a bent body, and the ball went off to the right.
But getting back to that courage of that mark here on the half-back line, if that doesn't lift your side, nothing will.
Yeah.
In a final situation like
That's
that,
right.
that
He
is
put his body on the line.
Those are the actions that will speak so loudly if Scoresby are able to get their way back into this one. The kick out was cut off really well by Hare. Paolini couldn't take that mark. And it's going to be over the boundary line.
I like Paolini playing up a little bit further and using that good mark that he has.
Because they do have marking options in the forward line anyway, so it's not as if they're lacking too much if Paolini works up the ground. So it's a scrap here in the middle of the ground. Tackled was Gale. Nankaro on the outside here. He's got a bit of time and space, but Delrain's going to close the distance. Nankaro was really good to use those clean hands. Got the kick over to Higgins. Now Kenworthy kicks it inside the forward 50. He just overcooked it there to Nick Can. And it's going to be a throw-in there.
I just watching the Scoresby bench down below. They're trying to con the boundary umpire. It was out on the full. It was at least half a metre inside the boundary line.
Oh dear. Let's go to the stat centre with Paul.
Inside 50s this third term are 12 to 11 the way of Surrey Park.
Back and forth action here at East Ringwood Reserve, and it comes back out of the Scoresby defence. Good mark by Bishop. So he's got a man on here in the centre of the ground, but he's been challenged by two. So Surrey Park will take it away here through Kennedy. His handball was stifled. This is Peters who's going to have to do well. He falls to ground under pressure, gets it to Gale. Durand was the option there. Garvin was the option there. Bacon chaining with handballs. Oh, just running to the 40, made a mark. High kick towards the goals for for Surrey Park. And it's going to be wide, just the one behind. That puts them at 7.850 to Scoresby 6.844.
Some elite short hand passes there, just releasing the last kick at goal from Gale, I think it was. So Surrey Park, they can move the ball quickly, but Scoresby, to their credit, set up a bit of a wall, a bit of strength in defence is holding up nicely for Scoresby. Long kick out by Hare. And he does get a teammate to be on the end of it in Denny. At ground level, his long ball doesn't find the intended target, and chopping it off was Naidu, who's been good off half-back. Usually a bit of a galloper, but he's steady behind the mark now. Kicks it inboard, finds his teammate in Haynes. Haynes is looking at option. Nadu looks behind him for a hand pass, ignores that, kicked it centre forward. It's a one-on-one contest, and Robertson set himself up nicely at centre half back. Slight push off of the opponent just because he had the position, and he's walked himself into trouble by not moving. The umpire called play on, needed Lowe to help him out. Lowe's going to have a touch finder, and they might be happy if that Scoresby, because I think both teams are ready for three-quarter time. They both look out of legs. Physically, they've pounded each other. They've been up and running when they've had a chance, and it's actually been a high-scoring quarter. It's 2 to Surrey Park with 3 to Scoresby, and a few shots at goal. So this might go for a minute more this quarter. Ground level ball. It's Smith being pushed over. Hand pass comes over to Nankaro. He can't take it on the low at his ankles. Now it's good work by Scoresby in defence. The hand pass forward, hoping for the big man in Robinson to run onto it. But he, again, just showing a bit of tiredness.
And I think also, Gav, it's hard to know because we've got the shade here. The boys down at the boundary, I don't know if you're in sun or how's the heat down there because it hasn't stopped. There's been no cloud cover all day.
Yeah, it's we're sort of in a piece of shade, but as you step out of that shade that's just covering the boundary line, it is really warm out here, and players are noticeably more tired than usual.
Yeah, it's looking like a bit of fatigue at the end, but it was a 28-minute quarter. Three-quarter time in this exciting preliminary final. Surrey Park lead by 6. Surrey Park 7-8-50, leading Scoresby 6-8-44. I'll just go through the majors before we sign off on the quarter. Can has got 3 for Surrey Park, and Mundy's got 2. McBean's got 3 for Scoresby, and Geest Ben has got 2. It's 44 playing 50. Surrey Park leading this preliminary final. You're listening to Radio Eastern 98.1, Facebook and YouTube watching. Thanks for staying tuned for an exciting fourth quarter to come.
Today at Eastland, Lucy's trying on jeans for a momentous occasion. Coffee with the ex. She needs jeans she can move in because she's definitely moved on. Jeans that get a second look, but don't give any second chances. Jeans that say, why yes, I have spent the last 8 months in a post-breakup juice cleansing, kickboxing, personal training frenzy. And it looks as though she's just found the perfect pair.
Yeah, that's great.
Bravo, Lucy. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle bursting through the banner? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home, at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. Knox Private 24/7 Emergency, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
Tobin Brothers Funerals wear their heart on their sleeve. Their clear and easy-to-use website and Memory Maker app make it easy for families to make an informed decision. Here's James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals.
There's no mystery about our pricing. It is clearly displayed on our website and our app. We have staff standing by 24 hours a day, every day of the year to assist you in your absolute time of need.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
Hi, Dylan Dow from the Baroni Football Netball Club here. When I need to grab a quick coffee or a bite to eat, I'm popping into Eastland. Eastland's more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been a major partner of the EFNL since 2018. Cheers, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to the Eastland Match of the Day. We are live from East Ringwood Reserve. We've got a cracking game on our hands here. High pressure, high stakes, preliminary final action. Surrey Park lead 7-8-50 to Scoresby 6-8-44. It's three-quarter time currently. We'll have the final quarter for you shortly. We'll go around the grounds, however, with Ryan Long.
Yeah, three-quarter time in the elimination final in Premier Division. East Ringwood 5-4-34, trailed Doncaster East 9-9-63. In the Division 1 semi-final, Mitcham lead North Ringwood 13-3, 81 to 6-8-44. So one quarter away from booking a preliminary final. And in Division 2, it's all Heathmont 14-14, 98 to the Waverley Blues 3-7-25. So they'll meet Templestone next week.
So I said it sarcastically yesterday, but I'll say it ssincerely today. We've got the close one here, boys.
We do.
It's excellent stuff so far.
Great turnaround from Scoresby in that quarter. That, like we said, Ray, it was just using a different option. You know, we could see what was happening from up here. Obviously, sometimes a little bit harder on ground level, but they obviously managed to change it, and it worked in their favour.
So
it was a 4-goal lead to Surrey Park, just to give reference. First 2 goals were quick out of the box.
Yep.
Yep.
24-point margin. For us to be 6 points, not only was it a momentum switch, it was, let's hear from the coach.
Here guys, down here with Craig McKenzie from the Scoresby Footy Club. Craig, you're probably thinking 2 weeks in a row, do you really need this again? But what learnings can you take from last week as well?
Look, we were really resilient last week. We really stayed true to what we wanted to do, and we rolled over the top of them because we were really disciplined. We were patient. We've trained for this. We've done these scenarios time and time again at training. So we're really excited to, do it once more and get into the big one.
I thought in that first half you were really dominant around the ball, contest and clearance. You really smashed them, but they just had a little bit too much class for you, and that sort of showed in the scoreboard. Do you think you deserved more in that first half?
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting pinged a little bit too much for things that I'm not so sure are there, because we're first to the ball, we're +7 in clearances, and that's hurt us when the umpires aren't rewarding that first to the ball. They're hurting us the other way. So we've just got to respond to that. Not blame them, we've just got to suck it up and get on with it and try something different.
What do you need to do in this last quarter to win the game and keep your season alive?
We've got to control the ball. We've got to make sure that the ball's on our terms and everything's on our terms. Stop their surge and then hurt them the other way.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for that one, Dylan. Good stuff there from Craig McKenzie. It's been good to talk to him today. He's given us a lot, and it's been very nice to see Scoresby in action finally as the siren tentatively sounds.
What I like there, he said he wasn't happy with how the game's umpired, but that's not an excuse. Let's react.
Mm-hmm.
That's what good coaching is if you're going to present a negative, what's the solution or what's the positive? What do you need to do? That's what good coaching is. So I like how he backed up that comment.
Ball held aloft, and it's Gavin Casey to take us underway in this final quarter.
6 points the margin, Scoresby trailing, and they'll get the first clearance. They're winning the clearances, as Craig, the coach, said, by 7. And now the kick doesn't go to anything yet, and it's cleared by Garvin. So Garvin's kick goes to the bouncing ball. It's won by Scoresby. Hand pass forward was Aaron. It was chopped off by Gale. He injects Surrey Park through the middle of the ground. Nicely done on the lead. Great hit up ball. And that was beautifully played into the hands of Can by the kicker in Kennedy. And once he had the space, he could survey his kick very beautifully. And Can had a metre, and he just wrapped his hands around it 35 metres out.
I suppose the Scoresby coaching staff would be asking, how can a Surrey Park player get 40 metres on his own from the centre clearance?
Yep. So this is what they fast start in the third term. Can's kick 3, lining up for his 4th, and a 12-point buffer. It's hooking, but it's staying through the middle of the goals, and that's a good goal for Surrey Park. They've counted the 3 that was late in the third term with 1 early in the 4th. It's now a 12-point lead to the Panthers. Can's 4th, 12-point margin as we go boundary side. Blake Tennant.
Yeah, just judging on from what Kev Murphy just said about Surrey Park. He just says 30 minutes is going to dictate our season. How much do you want it? Very short and sharp, Kev Murphy.
Thanks for that, Blake. 12-point buffer here to Surrey Park. Kilsyth waiting anxiously to see who they're going to play in the grand final next week. Division 4 action here, and very exciting stuff it is. Higgins gets the tap down. Surrey Park looked to get the clearance, but Johnson, the opposite ruckman, was first to it. Gets the kick out in front of a couple of players here. One of them is Cal Garvin. He was challenged for it, however. Had to lay the tackle on Denny. And it's going to be a ball up. So Scoresby, they're going to need to respond. And ideally it will be quickly. For the tap down, it was Blair who took it. I thought that was holding the ball, but Garvin received the handball. Got the handball over the top of Fallahay. Wasn't perfect, but Fallahay was good enough to scoop it up. Paolini's the target here at centre half forward. He's got to contend with Robinson. Or Hicks it was, in fact. Got the handball away, and Scoresby will go forward. It was a bit of a wayward kick. Peters was good enough to cut it off, but only for a second. Scoresby now back with the ball. De Geest swung round but got the kick away. McBean, he's going to run to 40. He's got the goals in his sights. Declan McBean! And the Scoresby crowd go off. Just a kick in it once again.
What a goal.
That is a great goal because he's running on an arc of the left. Yep. So he put it on the right, on the outside of the right, running to the pocket. He's put it through the middle like it was never in doubt.
He'd be spewing we don't have the goal of the day feature in the finals. Bring it back. Hashtag bring it back.
And he has been a fire starter for Scoresby, hasn't he?
Yeah.
McBean, he groundbreaking, and then he's moved in the middle to get more ball because of his power, and that's resulted in another goal. He's pace off the line and his precision with his kicking. Surrey Park get the kick out of the centre contest, but it's De Geest getting into this game big time. It's centre half back, chops off the kick. And now he's got a short pass out wide. They're going further down the line, bouncing ball for Corcoran. And it's now Surrey Park trying to get the intercept off the back line and rebound. But again, putting some great body contact on Denny was the Surrey Park players. So it's just a hot contest now. It's 50 plays 56. Surrey Park leading by 6, 4 minutes into this fourth term. The winner goes on to a grand final. It's all on the line in this preliminary final. Again, nice ground level ball won by Bacon, but he can't elude a tackler, and it's holding the ball as Scoresby will get it. And it'll be just slowing down on the outside. It's Hare who's got it. Hare's looking for options from the back of the wing. It puts a long high ball, hoping for a leaper. Now the players go at it again. McBean tried to charge through the pack, but he just left it behind as he was sighting the goals. And it's been an overzealous tackle that'll go against Kenworthy, and Scoresby will load up from 45 metres out.
I reckon that one was there.
So Bishop's got it, and he's looking much more deliberate. He's only 50 metres out. He's going to put a hot spot kick, a high up and under. It's more high. And then distance, ground low, well, a few grabs at it. I think Scoresby are hoping the drop mark will come, but Fallahay took it, and he's got the kick out wide to Palladini, who has to run a long one, and he's going to be tired after that effort as he's at half back. He had to run a long way to get that ball. He comes into the corridor, hooks around the corner, but the big opposite number in Johnson takes the chop off mark. He loads up a ball. Finlay's there. Big boy won't be knocked off it. He will be eventually chopped around the shoulders and get a free kick by the defender coming in late in Garvin. So Finlay, has he got the journey? He's got a sore shoulder, so he's a bit ginger, but he'll hand it off now to the runner. Long ball, goes the journey, bit errant, and it's a minor score to Scoresby, but they're getting more inside 50s and more looks at the goal, and it's only a 5-point margin.
Handy point is set by Blake on the boundary. Haynes will be the one to kick it in here for the Panthers. They're under a little bit of siege here early in the final quarter. Let's see if they can keep their composure. That was a very good, well-weighted kick taken by Glare. It's a high one here meant for Mundy. Bronski's challenges, but Mundy was clean enough with the mark, juggled it and kept it in his grasp. Paolini was the option.
Does he drop him?
No, he doesn't at all. Onto the right here, kick around the corner, and a great grab by Smith. Really good vision by Paolini, and Smith was just a little bit too clear for Scoresby's defence to do anything about it. And Tom Smith will go back and try and kick the goal here for Surrey Park. He won the Stephen Jones medal last year for the best and fairest in Division 4. He's kicked 14 goals this year from his 10 games. And this will probably be one of the more important goals of the year he'll kick if he does manage to do so. He's straight in front. He'll kick from about 35 out. Tom Smith, the young man, the prodigy, has kicked it. Subdued celebration here for Tom Smith. He knows there's a lot more work to be done, but Surrey Park now create an 11-point buffer.
Every time Scoresby come, Surrey have the ability to just get that extra goal to come back again.
Well, Paolini's been important, taking a few hit-up marks.
Well, that's right, yeah.
And his kicking style of suckling, where he goes low and he hooks it around. The defender was like gasping at the ball going over his fingers, and Smith being on the end of it. So the Rucks will go at it. It's a big contest. Well done by Murray for Scoresby. Gets it into the hands of Bishop, but Bishop's wrapped up in a tackle, and it'll be a second ball up at the centre of East Ringwood Reserve. So it's interesting to see Murray versus Higgins in the ruck contest. Higgins phones the front position late, but Murray, good strength to get the tap down. Ground level scrap for the ball. Working nicely was Hicks to put some pressure on. It's now Duran picking up the ball. His hand pass was a bit too fierce for his teammate. Murray picks it up. He's now on the gallop and puts it on the left boot. The kick is going to suit Peters coming in late, but he spoiled his own teammate in effect. Now it's sent half forward. It's Scoresby loading up a kick to the goal square. Bouncing ball won't suit them, and happy to let it bounce through for a minor score was George Haynes, and it's now a 10-point margin. Scoresby 7-10-52, trailing Surrey Park 9-8-62. 8 minutes gone. Haynes runs forward, runs himself into a bit of a corridor there of trouble, and the kick doesn't find a teammate. Who's at ground level trying to get the ball forward was De Geest, and he's been tackled over the top, and the umpire will say nothing untoward there. It'll be ball up, centre forward for Scoresby, wanting the next goal. They trail by 10. It's been 2-1 to Surrey Park this quarter, and now they're off to the races. Hand pass over to Smith. He's let the ball bounce, but he gets onto it now with still space, and his kick on the bounce gets through the intended in Vitaka. Vitaka's short to the boundary, was well measured, and it's been marked by Can. So Can looking for his 5th goal, which could just settle the nerves for the Panthers. But every time they get in the corridor, it seems like one player is just wide open for a run, isn't it?
It does.
So that's the difference in the two sides. The open play leading to a good inside 50. Marks inside 50 would be an interesting stat today. Can, boundary side, 35. Would be a good kick for a right footer. But he has read the goal umpire just stare in admiration as it goes over his hat from the boundary line. It's another goal to Can. The game breaker has kicked 5, and he now sets up a handy lead for the Panthers, who lead by 16 early in this 4th time.
Well, has Scoresby spent all their bullets getting back to where they were? You know, it's in their hands now. Once again, they've got to kick the next goal.
Yeah, it's just that composure as well.
There's still time. There's under 10 minutes gone.
It's just the composure, though, not to rush it.
Jack Murray taking the rock contest here for Scoresby, taps it down. They need a clearance here. Working onto it was Hare. Got a rushed kick away, but it's going to fall. Well, actually, it fell well for Scoresby. It was Cooper Frith who takes a flying shot at goal, but just the one behind. That's the sort of clearance work they need, though, Scoresby. Let's go to the boundary side with Dylan Smith.
Yeah, guys, if history tells us anything, Declan McBean is going to answer that Khan goal any minute now.
Where is he? He's jogging there at centre-half forward, but obviously Surrey Park will try to avoid him, and it was a good mark by Kenworthy. Kenworthy on this near side. He's got a whole maze to figure out here of Scoresby players, but Paolini, he's a great marking option, working his way up the ground there. Takes the mark, goes forward. Can was the option there. He's just gone to ground. De Geest, safe hands to Bronze Geest. Bouncing ball over the head of Hicks, scooped up by Gale. Kicks into space there inside forward 50. Scoresby are just going to have to hold on here as the tackle on Delrain comes from Vitaka. He swung him around, gives him a little bit more after the fact. And it's going to be a ball up. 11.5 minutes gone. Surrey Park 68, Scoresby 53. Over the top was Durand there in the ruck contest. The kick was cut off from Scoresby. Surrey Park go forward again, but standing in the hole there is Adam Bronze-Geest. He's done well. McBean, who's a long way from home for his liking. He looks like the most likely scoring option, but he's not going to do much of that from his position there. He's going to kick it out of defence. Paolini's going to have to run hard for it, and he's very happy to take it over the line there, because I don't think he trusted himself to get around Dylan Lowe. So it'll be a throw-in. 12 minutes gone in the final quarter. Surrey Park, they might just have a few toes in that grand final now. Not quite a foot there, but Kilsyth will be watching on and thinking maybe the Panthers will be our opponent once again next week. Durand got the tap down, but it was read well by De Geest. Got it to Lowe, but he was challenged immediately there as he couldn't pick up the ball. Fallahay did well. It's come out to Bacon now. Bacon gets it to Kennedy, and his kick is completely skew-off, and it's going to be out on the full. So Scoresby will take the kick in. Let's go to Paul in the stats centre.
Surrey Park have really intensified their tackling in this last quarter. 8-2 tackles in the way of Surrey Park.
So that might be where a lot of the players coming from is their pressure, and Scoresby, they're going to need to lift their intensity if they're to get back into this. The kick was intercepted by Paolini, took a good mark, but it looks like it's a free kick. So he infringed in that instance against Hare, and Hare's kick was just a little too wide there for Bishop, and he's escorted it over the line. No, it was a mark. I was watching the boundary umpire.
I think she said it was touched over. I don't think it's out on the foot.
It was either going to be a mark to Scoresby or boundary throw-in. It's a boundary throw-in.
It is a boundary throw-in.
Yeah.
So
didn't complete the mark before he walked over.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was good by the boundary umpire to stand her ground and say to the field umpire, this is the right decision for me to have it.
100%. Let's go to the boundary line with Dylan Smith.
Yeah, that one was right in front of us and got to the correct decision in the end.
That's good to know. So Bacon hunting for it from this clearance, taps it to Paolini. He was wrapped up immediately and taken to ground, and that's holding the ball. So Scoresby will march forward once again. It's going to be in the hands of Tom Robinson. But he's got a few questions to answer in terms of what options he's got. Ken Worthy is surrounded by 3 Scoresby players. It's just fallen into dispute. And Paravicini gets the kick towards Bronzegeist. He's going to let it bounce, but it just bounced to the wrong side of the line. Blake Tennant, what have you got for us on the boundary line?
Yeah, just a quick injury update. Number 58 for Scoresby, Jack Murray, has just hobbled off the ground. I'll get back to you shortly on that one.
So that's pretty bad news because he was starting to work his way into the game a little bit. The clearance, well, that was a great smother there from Frith's kick. Surrey Park are playing the pressure, and there's a holding free kick now. It's going to go the way of Surrey Park, so they'll push forward once again through Garvin. Garvin kicks it into the middle of the ground. Mark taken by Peters. Peters has got an option out there, but Adam Bronzegeist is going to put pressure on Vitaka. Vitaka's got the bouncing ball in front of him. Time and space on his side. Little chipping ball inside. Delrain applied good pressure there on Glare. Glare just took Bronzegeist down without the ball, and Bronzegeist will take the free kick. Completely cut off, however. That was a poor option. He tried to go aggressively into the corridor, but it was cut off by Peters. Surrey Park go forward again, and Can was the obvious option down there. And he's 40 metres out on a very tight angle.
Just that composure we sort of spoke of there. Yeah, it was the right play. I like taking it on in the corridor, but yeah, you've got to hit your target if you're going to do that.
So with 15 and a half minutes gone in this final quarter, and already a 15-point lead to Surrey Park, this could be the beginning of the end for Scoresby if Nick can kick this. It's going to be an impressive kick if he's able to do it. That is an impressive kick, but it finds the pack instead. Waiting for it there, Parolini. Got it to Gale. Snap round the corner. Gale kicks the goal, and Surrey Park might be into a grand final here against Kilsyth.
Yeah, they've just held their composure, found those marks as well, and the spare player much better than Scoresby have in this fourth quarter. Credit to Scoresby in the third quarter. They made this an absolute contest, but starting to get probably to worrying signs now.
Yeah, it looks like Scoresby had done. You just look at the body language of the Scoresby players now. Their heads are dropped.
Well, I think it was that just as, sorry, Gav, like when it first started, that first quarter, they came out firing Scoresby, turnover or blocks ball, turned over to a goal, and now it's been the uphill battle.
Rucks go at it again. Scoresby do well from the tap. Smith wins at ground level, hands it off to Grenade, who tries to run through the pack. His hand pass is a bit errant, but it still fell to Garvin. So Matthew Garvin goes to half forward, bouncing ball. Trying Ruckman last there for Surrey Park was Higgins. So the two of the Scoresby get their bouncing ball out wide. It's now in the hand from Marshall. Gets to a teammate, an inboard pass. Finds Robertson. Robertson's got a spearing ball to find, and he finds his teammate in Lowe. Lowe's at centre forward looking for another short pass. Now he puts a high up and under. Bronzegeist might be in good position, pushes off, and it was so obvious that he pushed off his opponent to get to the marking contest that picking himself up with the free kick is Matthew Garvin. So from the back pocket, Surrey Park leading 11-8-74 to Scoresby 7-11-53. 17 minutes gone in this fourth term. The kick out wide was a bit of a touch finder, hoping it'd come off hands, and Surrey Park happy to play just for a bit of position and hold up Scoresby's attacking efforts for now. 74 plays 53, so it's a they've just been good with intercepts and off half-back, just getting some run when they've been under pressure, have Surrey Park. The hand pass was high up and under. Ganane comes in for the tackle for Surrey Park, and again, Scoresby are stopped in their tracks at centre forward.
And Scoresby are sort of in that rock and a hard spot. Like they need composure, but they also need to get it in their forward line, and they've struggled to find that open option in their forward line.
Fallahay won the clearance from the half-back stoppage, and on the bounce it finds Mundy. Mundy bursts his way through the centre corridor, puts a high up and under, doesn't get to the forward, but Smith roves the pack. He's gone backwards now because he didn't think going forward was the right option. Kicks it back 30 to a runner, so it was smart play. Now they inject into the forward line. No mark taken for Surrey Park from Cam. He's, though, showing good energy to try to be a harasser, and Scoresby under that pressure. We're just happy to keep it over the line in the back pocket. So that was an interesting kick there by Smith to go to Garvin. But Garvin was at full pace going forward, so it was very smart play. It's in the forward pocket where Paolini, who's been a very good hit-up target, and he's the big man, will claim a free kick because he was held as his opponent fell off him in the ruck contest, and Paolini will have him shot and will no doubt seal the contest here in the preliminary final.
That free kick was just frustration by the Scoresby player. That's all it was, you know. But, you know, I think they've realised, you know, the preliminary final's gone now. Only, you know, 20-odd minutes gone. They've got to kick 4 goals to get back in front, maybe 5 after this, and complete frustration.
So Paolini's kicked one of the goals of the year for Surrey Park in the second term. If he adds to that, he might be celebrating a grand final berth. He goes on to tell Frith all about it, and he pushes him over. Still the umpire signals a goal. 80 plays 53. Paolini can be joyous because he'll know that the Panthers will be playing Kilsyth next week.
Who stars in the votes there? Do you reckon Khan takes the cake at the moment, or actually Card, is it? No?
Yellow card.
I think that was to the runner. From Surrey Park.
Runner, yeah.
You don't see that every day?
That's new.
Surrey Park runner, yeah.
I've just seen Jack Murray jog his way back onto the ground, so good news for Scoresby at least that he's not injured. And it looks like there's a free kick to Surrey Park out of the middle of the ground.
Why, how can it be a free kick to Surrey Park? They've kicked the goal. It was a Surrey Park runner who was yellow carded. So why do they get a free kick? No one knows what's going on.
That's a great question.
No one knows what's going on.
Or is it just...
Well, the ruckman's come back to take the free kick.
So the ruckman Higgins finds the running player in Haynes coming off the half-back line. Surrey Park leading into space here. Their forwards are running on top of the ground now, and the marsh been taken by Vitaka. He's got a little chip into the pocket. He just held onto it there long enough for the umpire to be satisfied that it's a mark.
That or a push anyway, probably could have been given. He did get forced under it sort of towards the end here on the replay. Yeah, I'm happy with the mark there.
Oh, it was a mark, without a doubt.
So Nick Can, he kicked 50 goals throughout the season before today. He's got another 5 today, and will this make it a 6? He kicked it on the wrong side it was on the wrong side for a right footer, kicked it across the face of goal, and Bronskis is just going to retreat across the line, one behind to Surrey Park. Let's go to the stat centre with Paul Uconi.
Yeah, well, they've been huge in this last quarter. Surrey Park, they've taken 5 marks inside the forward 50 to none, and they've kicked 4 from those 5 marks.
Frith takes the kick, goes out wider, and now the kick doesn't find the intended, and Surrey Park do show all the urgency at the moment, and knocking it out of bounds is another win for Surrey Park. 81 plays 53, 22 minutes into the fourth quarter. So it's been a 5-goal term for Surrey Park. Just when the game was on the line with only a 6-point margin, the clearing kick might be turned over again, but nicely running onto it is the big man in Finlay. His hand pass into the corridor was a bit fierce for his teammate, so he couldn't be the tackler on the rebound. Goes Peters, one of the best players on the ground. Goes Peters from half-back to full forward with a long kick. outnumbered full forward, can't take the mark for Surrey Park. The clearing kick's a bit of a bouncing one, but they will get it out into the open. And it's now Corcoran on the run, going down, but in the way will be Nadeau, running with the back with the flight of the ball. He couldn't take the mark, and the Scoresby player ran onto it, was tackled and penalised for throwing, and it'll be a free kick to go the way of Surrey Park player, and that looks like is it Porter?
Yeah.
Porter now goes to Smith at half forward, and he's just now got options in the corridor to look for. He does find his teammate there in Gale, who kicked a goal earlier. Gale goes long, players up and underneath it. Paley knocks everyone over in the pack like 10 pins. So ground level ball, Vitaka claims it, but he's claimed in a tackle, and it'll be a ball up in the forward pocket. It's time to go boundary side for the next stoppage. I think it's Dylan.
It is. I just did a little bit of research on that yellow card. It was actually the Scoresby runner who was given the yellow card, and it was for questioning the umpire's decision.
It does make sense with Surrey Park getting the free kick. Paolini again gets it out to Vitaka. Vitaka gets taken out of bounds in the tackle.
It's just that he took it really seriously, that yellow, and ran straight towards Surrey Park to get off the field as soon as he could.
He
Came
running off looking like a...
Just, come to your bench, it's okay.
Maybe he wanted to show some dissent to the Surrey Park bench.
Possibly.
He was on a run. He was on the run there for sure. Paolini again in front position. Smith throws it, and he puts it towards goal, but from 20 metres out, he was just running to the pocket and misses to the left side. Minor score won't stop the celebration. Surrey Park at 12-11-83 leading by, or 12-10-82 leading by 29 points over Scoresby late in this preliminary final.
We'll go to the score centre with Ryan Long very soon, but Scoresby are on a fast break here. Surrey Park, they're able to hold them up now. Caro has been looking pretty good today. It's his sort of day here. Sun shining and a hard track. Marshall did well enough to get the handball away for Scoresby, but only in front of Bacon and now Porter. Porter with a chipping option over the top, but it's gone out in the full. Score centre, Ryan Long.
The elimination final in Premier Division, East Ringwood 6-6-42, Doncaster East 12-12-84, so the Lions look to be home there and booking their semi-final against Baldwin.
The kick into the centre of the ground for Scoresby was cut off. Surrey Park regained possession of the ball. Mundy tried to work his way through two tacklers. Pretty lenient stuff by the umpire there. Let him get the handball away when he was on the ground. And it's just resulted in a pile-on.
The amount of ball that Surrey Park have had in that middle, just from turnovers, Ray, has just been, that's probably pretty much where the game's been won or turned around anyway in this last quarter.
Murray, who was back out on the ground, takes that ruck contest. Delrain with the clearance, but the coach, jubilant as he'll be, Kenworthy takes the mark. And a good kick across the ground. More scores.
Around the grounds in Division 1, the semi-final, Mitcham 14-10-94, North Ringwood 9-9-63. So they're going to hold on and meet Montrose next week in the prelim.
So that is good stuff for Mitcham there. Surrey Park just trying to work their way through this defence. Peters with an errant kick, but it was good enough there to make it to Glare. And Paolini, he's done so well. He's taken a mark in that spot about 3 times this quarter, I'd say.
He's also in the votes.
I'd say so too. Kicks a barrel. I think that's what the crowd wanted to see. It went over the top of the two Scoresby defenders. Marshall's going to have to be good under pressure there. Nearly shoved over the line. Had a chop-out option in Walnerek, and they're chaining it through handballs here, through De Geest. Bishop is there. He's under a lot of pressure from Kenworthy. Got the handball to tightrope the boundary line. It's only Surrey Park here, scooped up. Kicks towards Gale. He takes a mark inside 50 for Surrey Park, but there was a block free kick. Thank you for that, Blake. So Scoresby will take this one. It's all academic at this point because Surrey Park will be playing Kilsyth in the grand final next week in Division 4. And Scoresby just trying to work their way out of defence. Toby Richards gets the kick. Oh, it's just bounced out of the hands there of Riley Frith and over the boundary line. 27 minutes gone in this final quarter. Surrey Park 82 to Scoresby 53. And we'll have a throw in as the shadows lengthen here at East Ringwood Reserve. The dying minutes of the preliminary final. It's been a brave tussle by Scoresby, and they're going to run on with it here. Kicks it to a pack inside forward 50, but a great intercept mark under a lot of duress taken there by Matthew Garvin. Kicks it to the coach in James Kentworthy. Just assessing his options here. There's a bit of a scuffle going on here, and it's surrounding the Scoresby ruckman Johnson. And the siren's gone. Surrey Park have won 82-53. They will play Kilsyth next week in the grand final, and the brave run for Scoresby has ended right there in the preliminary final.
Well, it was an exceptional effort there by Scoresby, like I said, in that third quarter to really make that contest. But Surrey Park just, probably skill above just in that last quarter. Found more space, found the open, and probably a few tired bodies, Ray.
Yeah, it certainly will. Look, the winner today, I think, is Division 4 football. You know, I just thought that the game itself was a real first-class game. Huge crowd out here, beautiful weather, and look, all in all, Surrey Park, they're a lot cleaner and just more efficient with the ball when they disposed of it.
So the scores end up at 12-10-82 to Scoresby 7-11-53.
And we were saying sort of in that break, basically about Kilsyth and sort of what the contest has been today. It's been hard hitting. You know, Kilsyth have had the rest. How does sort of Surrey Park then come into next week and just find that winning formula against a side that's been very good throughout all season?
Well, in the previous final against Kilsyth won quite convincingly. So I suppose that Surrey's got to produce something, maybe what they did today, but something different to beat Kilsyth. Yeah.
Well, I think Surrey Park dominated with the better players. They just showed more poise as we go for our first interview post game.
Yes, I've got Victoria's player here, Nick Can. Nick, what a game of footy, mate.
Yeah, it was a tough battle through half-time, three-quarter time, and in that last quarter really just use our young legs to put them away in the last and run over them, which was very good to take into next week.
Yes, you would say, pretty disappointing way to lose to Kilsyth last week and to put on this performance against a really strong team that was hungry to get into a grand final and to shut them up like you did. You must be pretty proud about that performance.
Yeah, it shows the confidence that we can bring into next week to instead of coming out at half-time like last year, Granny, coming out slow, we can come out in that second half, use our young legs to run over the top of them and be able to compete with them for 4 quarters, only lose by 2 goals, which is great confidence we can take into next week.
So, Nick, you're into the same place where you were 12 months ago now, back-to-back grand finals. Must be pretty proud about that. But you're playing against a really strong Kilsyth team. What do you think you can do to try and get them?
I think it's just winning in the midfield. If we beat them out of the midfield first up, we can just get our forwards first use and not allow them to bring that spare back. So I think we should just beat them at the contest. We'll take care of business.
No problem there. Nick Can there.
Blake, can you ask him about his specky?
Oh, yes. The boys up there, Gavin Casey, our great commentator, just said about your specky. You want to talk us through that quickly?
Yeah, well, I've dropped about 8, I reckon, in the last 2 years. So it was finally good to take one and the second one as well, which is about time I used the hands to good.
And one more, Paolini just about fell over like he was shot before he kicked it to you. What was that about?
So Paolini just fell over when you took it. What was that all about?
Wait, what was that, sorry?
Paolini just fell over as you took the specky. What was that all about?
I didn't see him fall over. I'll have to watch that back. Would have been a good laugh, I guess.
Well, all the best for next week, mate. Into the grand final for the 2nd consecutive year. Must be pretty proud. All the best for next week.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, Blake Tennant, for that interview, and Nick Can, of course.
Yeah.
Jubilant in victory at Surrey Park. And I think it's not a particularly surprising scoreline, I suppose, but what's not shocked me about today, but what has really caught my eye was just the way in which Surrey Park did it. They were very clean throughout passages of the game. And Scoresby themselves, I mean, they stuck with it. They really did.
Yeah. Surrey Park, they were workmanlike. I would put it that way. But their ball use was so much cleaner than what Scoresby was, and in the end, with the weather the way it was, you could see as the game went on. We know Scoresby got some of these players back who were at the club before. The older bodies just were too slow in the end, and well done to Surrey.
I reckon we'll get Pauls with some stats because I reckon this game was even in possession, but there's a clear advantage won by Surrey Park going forward, obviously on the scoreboard. So maybe the stats we'll get the song first from the winners. Surrey Park celebrating. just breaking up. We're under the social club here at East Ringwood. There's a lot of concrete and in the way of receivers. So they're just getting ready for the song. We've got some good audio now from the victors. Surrey Park into a grand final. They'll play Kilsyth. This is the longest introduction to the song. They're asking for one person to shush, and I don't know if it's going to happen. They must be waiting for someone to get in the song. Here we go. The sounds of jubilation. And Ray, and this is not overplaying it, we talked about this year, but we've all been and watched the dark days of Surrey Park. They had barely any volunteers, barely players coming. Now they've got a strong club. They actually look like a club with supporters, a women's football side, players who want to be there, playing good football.
Great junior program.
They are a true senior football club. When they were...
They were down and out.
They were down
worst club in the league. I think it was 67 or 87 losses in a row, and they were down and out. And a lot of the credit goes to Andrew Toop, who was the coach way back then. I always said that Andrew Toop, he gave us terrific time on EFL Sunday and all that every week. But I always said that if he coached in a higher division, he would have been a success as well. He's a very clever football brain. But where they've come from, no one begrudges them if they win the premiership, because it's been a real hard journey, and they've done all the work, and good luck to them now.
It's actually a great story that Kilsyth and Surrey Park are going to play off. Kilsyth haven't won since 95, I think, so
like
it's been a long time since they've won a flag. Obviously Surrey haven't won one in the league, so either way there's a great story coming out of this grand final.
Kilsyth have got a great heartland. They've got a footy ground that's bigger than Divi 4, really, because they are a big club from a big history, but they haven't had a winning culture over the. But they've been in grand finals before, Kilsyth. So it'd be interesting these two teams going forward to next week. But let's look at the stats that brought Surrey Park through today.
Yeah, well, the clearances actually went Kilsyth's way comprehensively, 37 to 27. The marks inside 50 was well in favour of Surrey Park, 13 to 5. The intercept marks 10 to 8 the way of Scoresby. The tackles 41 to 38 the way of Scoresby. The inside 50s 43 to 41 the way of Surrey Park, and the free kicks 20 to 18 the way of Scoresby.
Okay, so those stats look quite even on the sheet, but the one that sticks out for me, 22 shots from 43 entries. There's a different way of going into a forward 50, and it's paid dividends for Surrey Park, getting it out and open and having some free run through the middle of the park.
And there's another stat that would have just blown out of the world. That was turnovers by both sides, because I think I don't think I've really seen a game with so many turnovers by both sides. And even a lot of that was pressure, of course, finals and all that type of thing. But
both sides happily put more players off half back when they had a chance, didn't they? So it probably led to both sides running into dead ends a little bit, don't you reckon there, Jared?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing for me when we were talking about turnovers, Surrey Park clearly capitalised a whole lot more on those turnovers than Scoresby. Scoresby, their inside 50 work was just not quite as efficient, and Surrey Park were running on top of the ground. And I really did like their use of the open spaces as well, because they did try to find space, and it looked like it came unstuck a couple of times, and maybe it wasn't the way to go laterally, but it ended up being just too much for Scoresby to keep up with.
And let's just talk about Scoresby as well, Gav, going back to the past, because, they've won premierships in the top Division 1 in those days as well, but there was a period back there a few years ago where they were going to fold. They were definitely going to fold.
Yeah.
And I think the sad thing about Scoresy Football Club is the fact that you go back 5 years ago, they had the biggest junior program in the Eastern Football League.
Yeah.
Now I don't think they have juniors
Well,
at all.
Roval, who's the next door neighbour's
Well,
big.
Roval's the next door. But the thing that you say that, but the thing was that all those kids that come from Listerfield and all these other junior clubs, they always went to Scoresy because they were a Premier grade or Division 1 grade side then. Roval wasn't. Now it's been reversed. All these parents want their kids, once they get out of junior football, to go to a higher division. So Roval get those players.
Scoresby, I started when Roval went on their three-peat run, and they went from fourth, third, second, and then finals in the Premier Division. So Roval showed they've got the blueprint of how you advance because you're too good for each division.
They're looking to get an under-19s next season, Scoresby, so they've already appointed a coach. They've got to get those players across. That will be a big help. And then if they can start, you've got to start probably from the bottom with the junior program, but if you can get something going through Auskick and then through your juniors as the years go by, it sets yourself up for the future, and you get those kids coming through and staying at the club, which is something that Surrey's got a great junior program, I believe. They're not in our league, are they? They're juniors, but I've heard good things.
YJFL,
So they're quite strong, and I think they're actually quite well set up if they are to get up in a grand final Goblet division. I think we've got an interview down at ground level.
Let's go to Dylan Smith, and he's got Michael Paolini.
I do have Michael Paolini, the man of the moment. Michael, I'm going to start in an unusual place here, but there was an incident on the field there where you delivered a dart inside 50 and then you sort of fell over and looked like you'd been sniped from the crowd. What happened there?
Just these old legs, mate. They don't work as well as they do anymore. So, just a bit tired, a bit heavy in the legs.
Fair enough. Another grand final appearance to back up last year. What does that mean to the club?
Oh, it's massive. We've got unfinished business after last year. It's really disappointing to go down in a close one, and the boys have rallied again. We had a good pre-season, and then got hit with injuries through the middle of the year. So we lost a couple on the bounce, and the boys have really rallied. And the last couple of weeks we pushed Kilsyth all the way last week. 10 minutes in the third quarter really sort of cost us the game, and then today really hard fought win. Scoresby, really good outfit, and really good result for us.
You mentioned Scoresby there. Heading into the week, did you think it was more likely that you were going to be playing Scoresby, or you'd be more likely to be playing Chirnside Park?
Oh, just with how Chirnside have been going the last 6 weeks, they've been the informed side, and Scoresby got them on the day, and the top four's the top four. They're each good sides on their day, and 4 can beat 1 and 3 can beat 2. So, pretty even through the top 4 sides.
You're also a little unlucky. We usually have a Goal of the Day award, and you kicked a pretty amazing one from the pocket. Can you talk us through that one?
Again, I think I nearly fell over after I kicked that. legs. These old legs don't go that well anymore. So.
And how's the team looking now? You've obviously had a bit of adversity and injuries throughout the season. How's the health of the list looking like at the moment?
Yeah, really good. Ryan Kennedy back this week for his first game after a broken ankle. Tommy Smith, second game back after a sort of partially torn ACL, which is unbelievable. And then, Matty Garvin back in, James Kenworthy back in. So, the cattle's arriving at the right time of year. So, hopefully, poor Noah dislocated his elbow today. So, there's one. It's got to come in for next week. But, everyone else got through pretty unscathed. So, big game next week.
Boys in the box, I'll hand it up to you.
It's Jared here, Michael. With Kenworthy back playing today, how does that change the complexion of the team when you've got that sort of leadership out there?
Yeah, look, Shrimpy's outstanding, obviously the coach for a reason, and plays behind the footy and really rallies the troops. His leadership's second to none, and you can see that across half-back today.
Michael, the reason why we're interviewing you, because I thought you in the second half you were important with your hit-up marks. The fact that you came to half-back to take some marks just when you felt your team was under pressure to be that release for them, and then you took some marks at half-forward. Is that what you wanted to focus on, was being a hit-up target?
Not necessarily. For me, and the team, it's me being the deepest target. But we sort of fell down across half-forward today a little bit. I took it upon myself being his assistant coach, just to sort of get up the ground a little bit and provide an option, and create a contest, and lucky enough to come away with a few grabs, so get the ball going forward.
And when you do get the ball, is this something you developed, the Matt Suckling kick around the corner?
I've got to get it out of my game. It's horrific.
But when it worked is when that pass in the last quarter, it was going over the defenders. They must have been like, oh my God, how did that get past us?
Yeah, no, it's not ideal, but I've just got to straighten up a little bit more.
Just before one more, how do you manage a year with playing a half a dozen games in the home and away? How did you manage a year as an assistant coach and someone available to play?
Yeah, look, it's sort of, we had 78 blokes playing through our development side this year due to injuries, and Shrimpy asked me if I wanted to pull the boots on, and played 2 games in the reserves, and then obviously the rest in the seniors. It's been a battle with fitness, obviously, but yeah, the last few weeks it's been really good. We've got some Ks in the legs through the week, and I'm 35 now, so it's just light weeks.
Ray Baird here, Michael. Look, from what you just said there, mate, if Surrey Park do win the flag this year, is there any chance that you go up to a higher division and you'll have another run around?
Oh, look, Ray, it's it's an interesting question. I've got a young family, so I want to commit 100% and be all in, or just hang the boots up one final time and that's it. So we'll see what happens.
My other question to you is, we spoke up here before you come on about the lean years and they lost all those games, and Michael Toop was your coach there. Is there any talk around the club about Toopy and that these days?
Toopy pops his head in occasionally, but the club's obviously gone through a tough time.
Yeah.
I've been at the club since 2015, and my first year we really battled, and then support from the junior club, and got the right people in the committee, and our under 19s are really strong, so development coming up through the grades is really strong, which has obviously shown. Played finals in 2017 or 18, I think, and then grand final last year. So we're on the way up, and hopefully next week we can get the chocolates.
One more for me, Michael. I really like your defenders today. It wasn't all just run off half back. It was actually just some intercept play from like Lachlan Peters impressed me.
Yeah, it was a really big focus for us during the week. We had a bit of a lengthy review on Tuesday night after last Saturday, and we sort of shot ourselves in the foot in the third quarter and didn't really transition the footy the way we wanted to, and it was a really big focus. So we trained that Tuesday, Thursday, and really big focus start of the game, making sure wide expanses of the East Ringwood Reserve here. We wanted to change lanes as quick as we could and get the ball out to our fast running wingers. So that was a key.
And just on Nick Can quickly, another 5-goal performance from him, and he's just an excitement machine. Every time we've been here, he's done something pretty special. He had that big mark early as well. What's he been like to play with as the youngster?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's what keeps me going. Is these young blokes. They're so energetic and up and about all the time, and Nick's outstanding. He's an outstanding talent, and it goes to show on the big stage today, kick 5, and really good.
I know we're spending a lot of time, but I just want a special mention. Jasper Mundy, his position in the forward line, is that something new for you? And he's doing really, really well.
Yeah, he's sort of unfortunate to get squeezed out of the midfield this week, obviously with Tommy Smith coming back in last week, and then Kennedy and Mitch Gale coming back in this week as well. So we saw a role for him at half forward, and he's got great hands for a young fella and a small type. So he was outstanding today, I thought, with his competing and overhead marking, and hit the scoreboard 2 or 3 times, I think. So,
well, I'm getting excited. Last one. Surrey Park in a grand final. Last year gave you a taste of what a win would do. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, the boys are keen. Like I said at the start, we got unfinished business. Really hurt last year to go down in a close grand final. I've been fortunate to win a senior one, so I know the highs, and I've lost one as well, so I know the lows, and lost last year. So, it really hurts, and it's a burning desire for the boys to really rally, and I think we're right up for the challenge, and last week proves that Kilsyth aren't unbeatable. We got within 2 goals. So, big week on the track, and hopefully we can get the chocolates.
Nicely done. Well played today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Michael Paolini and Dylan Smith, of course, for conducting that interview for us.
Thanks,
I would love to see him play. If they won the flag, I would love to see him just go up there, play half a dozen games in a higher division, just to give them a little bit of experience and that. I think that'd be great for the club.
And we saw that with Sylvan this year. Trent Martin, his final season after now retiring, but he certainly had a bit of an impact. James Charge, they had a few older players play on in Division 3, got them to a final series.
Because if you do win a flag and you go up, you really need a little bit of experience around there, and particularly someone like Surrey, because they've got such an enthusiastic young group.
100%. We'll go to our last ad break here before we wrap up on this game, all the games around the grounds and what that means for next week. The preliminary final in Division 4, it was Surrey Park 12-10-82 defeating Scoresby 7-11-53.
As Sarah opened her best friend Jackie's wedding invitation, she was overcome with a wave of emotion. While her 2 young boys wrestled on the floor, tears of happiness rolled down Sarah's cheeks as she saw the words she'd been longing to see. Please note, this wedding will be a child-free event. Well, Sarah, looks like we're off to Eastland for a new frock and some heels. And let's book in that babysitter. For all of life's little moments, there's Eastland. Eastland. Live real.
At Yarra Valley Water, we know reducing your shower time, or show time, to 4 minutes can save you an average of $200 a year on water and energy bills. Shower shorter. Save water. Authorised by the Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League. You'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Do you feel good about your bank? Because there is a bank you can feel good about. They share their profits to fund big community projects, small community clubs, and vital emergency services. They've given $250 million to help Australian communities thrive. They have all the products and tech you expect from a big bank, with service you don't. It's Bendigo Bank. Feel good about who you bank with. Try Bendigo. Search bendigobank.com.au or search Bendigo Bank near me.
The first time I met the team at Tobin Brothers Funerals, I felt like I'd known them for years. They're so caring, honest and passionate. James McLeod, Managing Director of Tobin Brothers Funerals, sums it up best when he says,
Every day our people get out of bed to assist client families in their absolute time of need. Our people love what they do, and you will not find a more highly trained group of people than those at Tobin Brothers.
Visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Hi, I'm Ben Desson from Montrose Football Netball Club, and when I need a new kit for a night out, I head over to Eastland. But Eastland is more than a shopping centre. They support a range of community organisations and have been major partners of the Eastern Football Netball League since 2018. Thanks, Eastland.
You are listening to Radio Eastern FM 98.1.
With live and exclusive coverage of the EFNL football season. Bringing you the match of the day with score updates from all divisions.
And now we cross to our commentary team for the Radio Eastern 98.1 Match of the Day coverage.
Welcome back to East Ringwood Reserve. As we've just seen Division 4 preliminary final action, Surrey Park have defeated Scoresby 12-10-82 to 7-11-53. And we've had a lot of other finals actions as well around the grounds.
Yes, absolutely. I'll touch on a couple of those results. In Premier Division today, a final score out at Jubilee Park. East Ringwood 7-6-48 were defeated by Doncaster East 14-13-97. And probably, as you said, Gav, before, if it's an upset, I think the margin was the surprising thing. I don't think anyone would have been too surprised if they got over by a couple of kicks, but by that sort of length, that's probably a disappointing way to finish for East Ringwood, Ray.
It was, yeah. Look, they've had a great season. Did their VFL players play for East Ringwood today?
Lowson didn't, did he?
No, Lowson definitely didn't.
Because there's been a lot of talk leading into the final series that for them to go any further, they would have needed those VFL players.
Yeah, you're certainly right. They had him some weeks, and they had him here. Yeah. When we saw him early in the season, they pumped Vermont by 91 points. So you can certainly see the difference. In Division 1, the semi-final, Mitcham defeated North Ringwood 14-11-95 to 9-9-63. So that was a pretty comfortable win there. They pretty much had control of that game right after quarter time.
Probably went the way that most people would have expected. A very gallant North Ringwood this season. You know, they went down and they started the season off very slow, but then as the season progressed, they progressed as well.
Well, there's plenty to look forward to next year.
Yes, they do.
There's no promotion as well, so a lot of sides have considered that in the season coming into it, and a lot of it have treated it as a 2-year block, and North Ringwood have a great chance of making the grand final again, and certainly having the final series again, and having an impact there. We're going to touch on those games next week and on what they mean shortly. In the Division 2 semi-final, the Waverley Blues 5-13-43. It has here Heathmont 17 straight. I don't think that's correct because they had behinds before, so either way, that's a massive win for the Jets, and very surprising because, again, I wouldn't have been surprised if they won, but by that sort of margin, that's really disappointing from a Waverley perspective again, because that's twice they've been jumped out of the gates, and once you do that, you're never going to recover.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw them against Templestowe as well. And it just seems to me that once they get stopped in their tracks, they don't have that plan B. And I think Tommy Langford might have to go back to the drawing board a little bit, because their game plan, it won them a premiership in Division 3, and I can't blame the man for backing himself in and backing in that sort of strategy, but coming up against some Division 2 teams this year, it just hasn't quite worked out for them, which is a little disappointing from a Blues perspective. But Heathmont, they seem to be, they had a really good start to the year, fell off a little bit throughout the course of the season, and now they seem to be peaking again at the right time. But I would have had Mulgrave as favourites in that game last week. I had Waverley Blues as favourites coming into this game today, and Heathmont, they've proven me wrong twice, and they go up against Templestowe.
Yeah, that's a big task for them next week. Let's speak about those games, because we only had the other 3 games here today. 4 games happening, including this one where Surrey Park got the job done over Scoresby. The semi-final, or the preliminary final now, Templestowe to play Heathmont. Gab, do you take much when you had this big win at the start last week against the Waverley Blues from a Templestowe point of view, and then you come back the following week, same ground, and you get pumped by the best side in the division? Do you lose a bit of confidence coming into a prelim, coming up against a side who is on a bit of a hot streak with 2 in a row and defeated Templestowe in that last game of the season?
Yeah, it's a funny one because they'll match their games against Waverley Blues and go, well, maybe they were more convincing against it if they're the yardstick, but they won't be, because Waverley Blues, whatever reason, we're getting thrashed by 2 sides. Yep. So they've got to go on their own history and get encouragement from their home and away encounters, because I don't think Waverley Blues is no longer the measuring stick in that division, unfortunately.
No, definitely not. And I mean, we said it before, Blake, and your thoughts on this one? I think we were sort of debating that at the start of the show on what would happen next week. Do you have an early tip on this one?
It's definitely going to be hard. That's definitely for sure, because Heathmont put on an absolute clinic today, and Templestowe's confidence will be a bit down, as we know. But it's a hard one, because you Templestowe are playing a team full of confidence at this stage, where Templestowe obviously progressed through to the semi-final yesterday. So it's going to be a hard one for Templestowe to overcome, because Heathmont will be up and about, and they showed that in the first quarter. So for me, I think I'm still going to go Templestowe. Just the midfield might get Heathmont, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's close. I actually would not be surprised because Heathmont, they're a fast-starting team this whole final series.
Yeah, I think it is going to be quite a close one. The Division 1, as we said, Mitcham winning today means they meet Montrose in the preliminary final. Just a couple of weeks, or just last week, they had that epic final finish to that semi-final where it went into the qualifying final, where it went into overtime. And who was it that scored the winning point for Montrose?
It was a winning point. I said it on the broadcast that it was Michael Schwab that got the winning goal last week, but it was actually a winning point from Brian Garthwaite because Michael Schwab snapped it around the corner, but it actually went to the behind post, but Ryan Garthwaite touched it through for a magic point, they called it. So, but yeah, so it's going to be interesting next week, boys. I'm telling you, I reckon Mitchell will be full of confidence today, and Montrose, they're going to be up against a very hungry Mitchell side, and I think, again, we might actually get an overtime game. I wouldn't be surprised.
Ray, it's an interesting one because obviously the last week Mitcham got jumped out of the gates again, and that happened to a somewhat of extent when North Ringwood led at quarter time here. The earlier time we saw them against Montrose, they were trailing at quarter time. How important is that to get off to a good start against a side that has the wood over you? I think they've won 6 in a row against the Tigers now.
Yeah, they've won the wood. They got the wood over them, but in each time they played them, they got a little bit closer. I mean, there was only a 1-point result. That game could have gone any way. You know my thought. Blake knows my thoughts on Montrose. I don't like the way they play their football. To me, it's not up to today's style of football, which is run. But to me, they too many stoppages in their game. Anyway, but that's only my opinion. I've been right so far. Maybe not next week. And then I'm sure that if I'm wrong, Blake's going to be the first one to let me know.
And Montrose's biggest critic, Ray Baird. There you go.
That's all right. I love being that too.
He'll be straight on to you. He's been on to me all week saying that they were going to get the job done this week. They didn't. They fell short to South Belgrade, but they certainly didn't lose any admirers. I thought they were quite impressive for 3 quarters, but fell short. So that's a very interesting matchup there. Next week, South Belgrade go on to the grand final, waiting the winner in there, and then Boronia in Division 2 await the winner of Templestowe Heathmont. The preliminary final, not preliminary final, the semi-final next week, Rowville versus Vermont on the Saturday. That spot is for a grand final, and then the following day at Jubilee Park, Baldwin take on Doncaster East. Firstly, that Baldwin Doncaster East one, we were there not long ago, Jared, and it was a very one-sided first quarter, but after that, it was a pretty even contest.
Yeah, it was. I think... Donny East, they've surprised me today by how much they defeated East Ringwood, of course, so they will be coming in with momentum. Baldwin, they found it pretty easy against Blackburn, unfortunately to say. And again, it was a fast start by the Tigers that pulled that one out. So obviously a couple of fast starts that we've seen from them. I don't think that it's necessarily going to sew up the victory. We saw them lapse a little bit yesterday against Blackburn, let them in. It was a 4-goal margin at a certain point, and it really looked like they were the Panthers were in touching distance of Baldwin. So if they have that lapse again against Doncaster East, I don't think they're going to be let off just as easy.
And Gav, that preliminary semi-final. So it's been a very long week. And we all the women's grand finals yesterday. I'm ready to go to bed. But Gav, that Rowville versus Vermont, we were there earlier this season, and it was a very, I wouldn't say one-sided contest, but the Eagles got the job done pretty comfortable in the end. But I think at this stage that result would mean nothing. They've only played once this year, and I think Rowville, with the way they're playing at the moment, are going to really give this a red-hot crack, and it could be the redemption story of 2023.
Yeah, well, they looked in danger that they would miss finals at one stage. So I think Rowville's probably peaking at the right time for themselves. They say rain cost them last year, but they've got no excuses next week. It's going to be a beautiful, fine weekend.
You've checked the forecast. Sunny
Saturday. So I like Vermont's showing a lot more run and grit in the contest, haven't they? It's sort of been organic, their growth into the season.
Yeah.
Like early, it took a while where it seemed like they were rebuilding, but now they're actually full of confidence. And I just wonder, confidence is fantastic in football, so that's where Roval, if they're getting confidence back, this is what excites us about this contest, because, Roval, if they can get their first hands on it, they can control the game. And keepings off is very important when you've got such great on-ballers in the Vermont side. Getting back their champion on-baller, Johns late in the season is just probably fantastic for Vermont.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously our 2 grand finals, which will have plenty of coverage over during the week. Donvale versus Ferntree Gully, which has been set in stone since pretty much round 4. We had a feeling this would happen, that these two were the best 2 sides, so they take on each other next week on the Saturday out at Jubilee Park, and then on the Sunday we're back here again, East Ringwood Reserve for Surrey Park versus Kilsyth. Quick thoughts on a couple of those games, Ray? Do you have a couple of opinions?
Well, I think on this game here next Sunday, I think Kilsyth, they've obviously been the best side all year, and I can't see them, getting beaten by Surrey. I just think that they're going to be too strong all over the field. That's my choice here.
Blake, your thoughts on both? I think you, with the Division 3 grand final, actually sort of not going to tip Ferntree Gully, but I think you, amongst the panel, would be the most likely to lean towards them in a close one.
Yeah, look, obviously Donvale's been the best side in the competition, don't get me wrong, but strange things can happen, I'm telling you. I've seen it before, I've seen it many a times. I think looking back now, 2018 grand final, this is from way back, Ringwood undefeated, and Boronia got up that day, so when they weren't supposed to at all, Boronia, so stranger things can happen, and I've seen it, so it's going to be a hard one to tip, honestly, because I saw Ferntree Gully, I saw the bit of the footage, and then
your boss might be listening, so you got to be careful where you go with this.
He might be. Cup. Yes, he might be listening. But you got to go. You got to go to flag favourites. But it'll be close. It won't be a smashing, I tell you. It will be very, very close. I reckon 3 to 4 goals. I'm not going to do a tip. I'm just going to say 3 to 4 goals. So, Kikes, if you're listening, I didn't do a tip. So.
Absolutely. We've got a minute to go here, so we'll start wrapping things up. Gav, Jared, fantastic call again. Gav, great to see you. You'll be back next Sunday again.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely. And Jared, yourself, you're always here.
Always. I can't get away from the FNL now, no, especially with the final series coming up.
No, absolutely. Ray Baird, brilliant as always.
Yeah, no, look, I've enjoyed this weekend, both days, and I'm going to enjoy having next weekend off both days as well.
You'll see your Hawks on the Saturday, and Paul Uconi Stat Centre once more.
Yep, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, boys.
Well done, Paul, and Blake Tennant and Dylan Smith on the boundary.
Yes, good to be back. Boys, we're just up to the last bit of the season, and grand final weekend can't come quick enough, so I'm very keen.
Right, as we're all looking forward to it. Megan Green, Kate Green, Lee Green, everyone behind the scenes do a fantastic job, and really looking forward to next weekend. A couple more grand finals. That's it for us here at East Ringwood Reserve. The preliminary final, Surrey Park 12-10, 82 defeated Scoresby 7-11, 53.